The global apocalypse has arrived. Cultivating at the end of the world with my sister-in-law. This video is purely for entertainment and does not infringe on copyrights or laws. The rights to the novel and image belong to the original author. We do not claim ownership. Don't like waiting and want to listen to this fanfic in full now? Subscribe to our Patreon, where you'll find the best fanfics. Chapter 26, Raid on the Ranger Camp. Oh my god. Chieftain level recruitment scroll. Cao Xing's eyes widened. In this world, whether it is the recruited creatures or the wild creatures, they are graded according to their qualifications. Qualifications represent their strength and their growth potential. Ordinary, elite, chieftain, leader, commander. The stronger the qualifications, the more attributes will be improved each time you upgrade. As an elite creature like the Ice Druid, its attributes are 30% stronger than ordinary creatures, and it gains more attributes each time it upgrades. And now, this first place reward actually skips the chieftain and directly rewards the chieftain level creature recruitment ticket, which is terrifying. At this moment, Cao Xing directly decided to sprint with all his strength and try to win the first place reward. System announcement: the rankings are being counted. Later, you can check your relevant rankings on the rankings. At this time, the rankings of the level rankings have not been announced. However, most of the survivors around the world, who are confident in themselves, have already started to act. At this moment, Fang Long, who was acting outside in the snow, also heard the system prompt. He opened the 3 Heroes team channel. As you can see, the rewards for this ranking are very rich. Anyone who enters the top 100 will get a lot of supplies. And this time, we only need to compete with other survivors in District 174, so the pressure is not too great. At this moment, the other survivors of the 3 Heroes Society also smiled confidently after hearing this. Fang Long continued, so this time, our 3 Heroes Society will strive to get more top 10 places, and I will also strive for the first place. The survivor named Ji Jun said, "Boss, is there anyone in District 174 who can compete with you?" Fang Long thought for a moment and replied, "Yes, there are. As far as I know, there are several gangs in Xiangjiang City. They are very powerful in themselves. When they come to this world, they can give full play to their strengths. Wu Xinghu, Zalbo, these people should be my opponents." After listening to Fang Long's words, Ji Jun on the opposite side nodded suddenly. "Boss, where is Cao Xing?" However, Fang Long sneered, "He, a lucky guy, I don't take him seriously." After hearing this, Ji Jun also nodded. Then, both parties hung up the call. At the same time, the survivors from all over the world, who had descended into this world, began to act. Wu Xinghu, brothers from the Tiger Hall, let go. Go all out, and make sure to get a few more places. Zalbo, brothers from the Heavenly Sword Society, speed up your progress. Only those who reach level 10 before the end of the novice protection period can get rewards. For a time, survivors from all over the world mobilized. At this time, in Cao Xing's camp, Liu Muxue also heard the system announcement, and she looked at Cao Xing. Although she didn't know what level Cao Xing was compared with other survivors, but from the performance of the past 2 days, even if Cao Xing was not the first, at least the top 10 would not be a problem. Cao Xing didn't know what Liu Muxue was thinking. In addition to developing the territory, he now had another goal. That is, to take the first place in the ranking list. Cao Xing looked at Assam and Andrew, and gave a direct order. "Then, let's set off now. The target is the hunter camp 7 kilometers away." Assam took the lead in responding. He drew his sword and said loudly, "Charging for the Lord is my life's mission." Andrew on the side also said devoutly, "I'm willing to fight for the balance of nature." After that, Cao Xing and Liu Muxue took Assam and Andrew, and walked out of the camp. As for Irina, he left her to guard the territory. Rustle. In the snow, the footsteps of 3 people and a wolf kept coming. A frost wolf knight, a claw druid, followed by 2 humans. This strange combination walked in the endless snowfield. More than an hour later, they came to the location that Dahua said. From a distance, about 1 kilometer away, they did see smoke rising in the snow in front. Under the smoke, Cao Xing saw a large camp with more than a dozen tents sparsely planted. This is a large-scale hunter camp. When Cao Xing approached, a system prompt appeared in front of him. Hunter camp, special area, danger level, extremely dangerous. Note, this is a camp of fallen people who believe in evil gods. Their mentality is extremely crazy and twisted. It is extremely dangerous for you at the moment. Please stay away as soon as possible. Although the system prompts that this group of hunters is very strong, Cao Xing is no match for them. However, that was without considering Andrew and Assam. Cao Xing did not retreat at all and directly asked Andrew and Assam to speed up. He and Liu Muxue followed behind. Cao Xing said, "Muxue, you just follow me and leave the task of fighting to them." Liu Muxue whispered, "Okay, crossing." A few minutes later, they approached the camp. At the same time, a hunter who was patrolling the camp also discovered Cao Xing and his group. He exclaimed in an instant, "Something is happening. It's an enemy attack. Enemy attack." Hearing the shouting, a large number of hunters emerged from the tents. They were all dressed similarly, wearing thick snow cloaks and a vortex mask similar to Uchiha-Obito's, but blood red. They had a dagger on their waists and a wooden longbow on their backs. Cao Xing took a casual glance and saw the attributes of these hunters. Hunter LV4, race, human attack. 3135 health. 430, skill, cut. Hunter Scout LV6, race, human attack. 5447 health. 660, skill, knife throwing, assault. The strength of these hunters was similar, basically consistent with Dahua's intelligence. So Cao Xing said directly, "Assam, Andrew, go ahead." Assam raised the long sword emitting aurora in front of his chest and controlled the frost wolf under his feet to rush forward at a high speed. For glory. Boom. Boom. Andrew ran on all fours like an animal. The Lord will punish these destroyers of nature. Two powerful second-level creatures rushed into the group of hunters. Then, they directly launched a strong crush. Bang! Andrew rushed directly to a hunter and waved his claws in his crazy eyes. Puff. -395, -6. Exaggerated damage numbers floated up. The body of the hunter was immediately cut into 4 pieces, and the blood was scattered on the snow like scattered petals. A system prompt appeared in front of Cao Xing. Your territory member Andrew killed the hunter level 4 and gained 40 experience points. Combatants Liu Muxue, Cao Xing, territory follower Irina gained half of the experience points. 20. Chapter 27 Phantom Assassin Recruitment Scroll. Not only Cao Xing, but also Liu Muxue beside him heard the system prompt and asked in confusion, "Xing, I seem to have gained experience too. But, I didn't help in the battle?" Cao Xing thought for a moment and soon understood the reason. Although Liu Muxue did not fight in the battle, she added the Aurora Blessing status to Andrew and Assam, which can add extra damage. In other words, the system defaults to Liu Muxue, who also participated in the battle. Cao Xing added Ice Armor and Ice Healing, which also counts as a combat participant. Including Irina, who is guarding the territory, also buffed the druid. Cao Xing's face showed joy. "This function is great. Muxue, this is a good thing. In this way, as long as we recruit enough powerful followers, we can just give them the status and don't have to worry about it. At that time, send all these followers out and we can upgrade, even if we sit in the territory. And more importantly, in this way, they will have a greater chance of winning the leaderboard reward." After hearing this, Liu Muxue's face also showed a trace of joy. Then, she stayed by Cao Xing's side. The two watched the one-sided slaughter unfolding in the camp. Assam rushed directly into the center of the camp at this moment, facing the siege of 7 or 8 hunters alone. There were 2 hunters shooting arrows next to him. However, their arrows shot on Assam's armor, and 2 extremely small damage numbers suddenly appeared on it. -1, -1, the hunter's attack power was still good, at least it could still cause some damage to Assam. But the damage was too low. It can be said that the defense was broken, but it was not broken. The next second green +10 appeared above Assam's head. The hunters were completely dumbfounded. How the hell is this? The blood volume is not as much as others. Is this too bad? I want to report. Someone is cheating. But Assam doesn't care what they think. With 95 points of loyalty, he will put Cao Crossing's order first. That is, kill all these hunters. Puff puff puff. He wielded the Frost Wolf sword with great vigor. Every time a sword fell, it would definitely take the life of a hunter. The Frost Wolf also took him with him, constantly jumping in the camp and changing positions. The second level Assam was invincible. Your territory member Assam killed the hunter level 4 and gained 40 experience points. You gained experience points. 20 points. And Andrew on the side was even more terrifying. It directly transformed into a house-destroying form, and one tent after another was overturned by it. The hunter hiding inside was also easily pulled out by Andrew, and then killed with one claw. Under normal circumstances, Andrew exuded a sage-like tranquility and wisdom. But in battle, he was just like a violent beast. Roar. After a terrifying roar, Andrew directly held down a level 6 hunter scout and smashed its head. Cao Crossing and Liu Muxue kept seeing the prompt of gaining experience points. After a while, a white light appeared on Liu Muxue's body. She was upgraded. It is still very simple to upgrade from level 1 to level 2, and only 100 experience points are required. However, to upgrade from level 2 to level 3, 1000 experience points are required. Each subsequent level increase will add 1000 experience points. At this moment, a dark shadow suddenly rushed out of the innermost tent of the camp. He seemed to know how terrifying Andrew and Assam were. The moment he rushed out of the camp, he ran towards the snow without any intention of fighting. Cao Crossing took a quick glance and saw the other party's attributes. Hunter Captain LV10, race, human, attack power. 1721 84 HP. 1540, skills, brutal cut, cause 80% attack power damage to the enemy twice, and add a level 1 bleeding effect, grease the soles of feet, increase the movement speed by 30% during the escape. Oh my god, this is the captain inside. Cao Crossing shouted immediately, don't let him run away. This guy, although he is just an ordinary monster of level 10 and has not yet advanced, but the skill of grease the soles of feet is really outrageous, and it is a must-have for escaping. At this moment, Andrew suddenly roared. Roar. It changed from its original human form to a giant bear covered with white hair, running out like a cannonball. Boom. The speed of the instantaneous burst even exceeded that of the ice-field giant bear. It was Andrew's skill. Giant bear form. Boom. Boom. The ground kept shaking. In giant bear form, Andrew's all attributes soared by 30%, and with Irina's Snake Man Madness, the movement speed increased by 20%. Andrew easily caught up with the fleeing hunter captain. Then, in his frightened eyes, Andrew roared. Roar. The huge bear paw slapped down directly. Pa! Exclamation mark. The hunter leader was directly slapped into a pile of meat paste. On the cold snow, a bright flower made of flesh and blood appeared. This bloody scene made Liu Muxue's face pale, but she still gritted her teeth and let herself accept it all, because she knew that, if she was to participate in the battle next, this kind of scene would be very common. Cao Crossing heard a system prompt. Your territory member, Andrew killed the hunter captain level 10 and gained 300 experience points. You gained experience points. 150 points. At this time, a white light rose from Cao Crossing's body. Your level has been upgraded. Current level, level 4. This upgrade has gained strength +2, agility +2, spirit +4, constitution +2. Cao Crossing was delighted. Another upgrade. A surge of energy emerged from his body. His brain became clearer and his body became more energetic. Woohoo, this upgrade feels really good. Soon, Assam also resolved the battle. The hunters in the entire camp had been killed by them. The ground was littered with corpses and broken arms. The system prompt appeared. You destroyed a hunter camp, and the territory reputation +50. Attention. Because you have completed a difficult crusade, you will receive an additional reward, based on your strength. Phantom Assassin Recruitment Scroll. Blue, *1 Hey, another blue recruitment scroll. Cao Crossing's eyes lit up, and he checked the properties of this scroll. Phantom Assassin Recruitment Scroll. Blue. This scroll can summon a Phantom Assassin with level 20 elite strength. Fuck. Level 20 elite creature, more powerful than Andrew. Cao Crossing's eyes were filled with strong shock, and then ecstasy. Obviously, this recruitment scroll can greatly improve his strength. However, he did not summon it immediately, but took Liu Muxue to the camp. Let's go clean up the battlefield first. Then, the two came to the camp. It was a messy scene in front of them, and even the campfire had gone out. Cao Crossing came to the body of a hunter, and was about to start. The system prompt appeared. Humanoid creature, cannot be decomposed. The corners of Cao Crossing's mouth twitched. What does this system think of me? I didn't want to decompose it. This is slander. Slander. Having said that, Cao Crossing still reached out and fumbled around on the group of hunters. Get hunter mask, white, asterisk 1, get first level soldier training book, white, asterisk 1, get coins asterisk 15 mask. Cao Crossing looked puzzled, then checked the properties. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 28 Goblin Treasure Key. Hunter Mask, white, quality, ordinary, equipment effect, increase 3 points of spiritual power. Note, if you wear the mask, you will be regarded as a follower of the evil god. When you act on the mainland, you will be listed as a wanted target by major towns. Cao Crossing was stunned. This mask is also a power item. Shaking his head, Cao Crossing put it in his backpack. After all, it is not worth it for 3 points of spiritual power. He continued to check another item. First level soldier training book, white. Through this training book, ordinary people in the territory can be trained into first level soldiers with combat effectiveness. Cao Crossing's eyes moved slightly. This is the early training book. You can train Dazuang and Dazuang into combat troops, and you can also gain experience through combat later. Coins asterisk 15. The universal currency of the mainland. You can use coins to buy some supplies or recruit followers in the towns of this world. There is nothing much to say about this. Money makes the world go round. When you have enough coins in your hand, you can even go to the town to buy some good-looking female slaves. Then, Cao Crossing began to touch the corpses one by one. Get hunter mask, white, asterisk 1, get coins asterisk 13. Get first level soldier training book, white, asterisk 1, point. After touching the corpses, Cao Crossing searched the tents in the camp. However, in those tents, Cao Crossing saw a scene that made him nauseous. In each corner of the tent, there were some frozen corpses, with the limbs and heads cut off. Then the torso of the corpse was placed on a strange pattern, with the limbs placed in 4 directions and the head placed on the chest. It was like an evil ritual. Although I know that hunters are a group of guys who believe in evil gods, and are crazy in their bones. But this inhumane scene in front of me still made Cao Crossing feel nauseous. As for Liu Muxue on the side, her lips turned pale. Damn, these hunters are so cruel. Cao Crossing suppressed his nausea and continued to search inside. He collected all the supplies he saw. Obtained wood asterisk 17. Obtained stone asterisk 6, obtained iron asterisk 3, obtained food asterisk 7, obtained inferior wine asterisk 3, obtained coins asterisk 71. Then, he walked out of the tent and continued to search the next one. There was also a poor guy whose body was dismembered inside. Cao Crossing continued to search for supplies in every corner. Obtained stone asterisk 7, obtained wood asterisk 17, obtained iron asterisk 6, obtained coins asterisk 62, obtained moldy nuts asterisk 3, obtained dry bread asterisk 5, obtained coins asterisk 34, obtained. Liu Muxue, who was following behind, looked at Cao Crossing's extraordinarily careful search in surprise. This is simply a locust crossing the border, not willing to let go at all. Soon, Cao Crossing searched all the tents in this camp. Excluding other resources, Cao Crossing collected a total of 1072 coins here, plus 9 first level soldier training books. Cao Xing was delighted because the money was enough for him to buy a pretty female slave and bring her back to the territory to serve him and Liu Muxue. No. Why do I always think about the female slave? Cao Xing shook his head quickly. At the same time, Andrew also came over. Lord, I found something different on that fallen guy. Cao Xing turned his head and asked in confusion, what is it? Andrew held a bronze key in his hand and handed it directly to Cao Xing. Get the goblin treasure house key 1. With this key, you can go to the coordinates 32,141, 23,513, 3521 to open the goblin treasure house. Note, there may be some special dangers hidden in this area. Please go there with caution. Cao Xing. Fuck. Goblin treasure house. In this world, the goblins are a weak race, but they are extremely good at digging holes and treasure hunting. Therefore, there are often some precious treasures in the goblins' treasure house. However, the system also prompted that there is a danger in that place. Cao Xing opened the small map and looked at the coordinates recorded on the key. It was about 40 kilometers away from him, not too far. But before the means of transportation were built, it would take more than a day to get there. It seems that this treasure house cannot be opened in the near future. Cao Xing shook his head and put the key into his backpack first. At this time, Assam also made a new discovery. Lord, I found the group of refugees captured by the hunters. But it seems that there are not many of them left. Assam frowned and said. After hearing this, Cao Xing immediately took Liu Muxue with him. They came to the innermost tent of this camp. Lifting the curtain, Cao Xing saw that there were several humans tied up like twists. There were both men and women, and Cao Xing also saw a child among them. Just as Assam said, there were not many people left. Adding up, there were only 7 people left. After seeing Cao Xing come in, the group of humans flashed with fear in their eyes, and they begged for mercy. Sir, please don't kill us. Sir, please let us go. Obviously, this group of humans have been frightened by the hunters' methods, and they are frantically begging for mercy. Cao Xing glanced at their names. Colin Hopper LV3, Lucio Law LV2, Merin Kun LV2, Survivor, Tong Chachu LV1. When Cao Xing saw the last name, his eyes widened. Huh. Human. Liu Muxue also saw the name displayed above, and then said, Xing, it seems to be the little girl in the corner. She is also a human from our blue star. Cao Xing looked closely. Although the little girl was wearing a simple thatched coat, the school uniform inside still showed her identity. At this moment, the little girl was still in a state of panic, and her eyes looking at Cao Xing were full of fear. Liu Muxue walked over and comforted her softly. Little sister, we are not hunters. We are humans from Blue Star just like you. The little girl raised her delicate face and looked at Liu Muxue tentatively. After confirming that Liu Muxue was indeed a human survivor, she burst into tears. Woo woo woo. Daddy was captured by that group of masked men, and he will never come back. Woo woo woo. The little girl cried for a while and seemed to realize something and quickly stopped crying. She looked at Liu Muxue nervously and apologized. I'm sorry big sister. Chachu shouldn't have made such a loud noise. Please forgive me. Liu Muxue shook her head and said distressedly, it's okay. Can you tell your sister what happened? Tong Chachu nodded, as if she was sorting out her voice. Then, she said in a childish voice, yesterday I followed my father out to look for food. Not long after we walked, we were suddenly attacked by several arrows. Then we ran into that group of scary guys wearing masks. We were captured. They beat daddy up and took dad away at night. Woo woo woo. Chapter 29, Wheat Seeds and the Church's Letter. After the little girl finished speaking, she burst into tears again. The taken away she said naturally meant that she was captured by the group of hunters and held some evil rituals. Cao Xing and Liu Muxue looked at each other. Obviously, the little girl who lost her father fell into the hands of this group of crazy hunters. If Cao Xing hadn't come, her end could be imagined. Liu Muxue looked at Cao Xing and whispered, Xing, can we take her back to the camp? Cao Xing thought for a moment and nodded. Now that the camp is gradually getting back on track, it's nothing to just have one more mouth to feed. And this little girl is also a survivor. Maybe she can help in the future. Liu Muxue whispered to comfort her. "Little sister, are you willing to follow your sister back to our camp?" The little girl named Tong Chachu gradually stopped crying, and she asked in confusion, "Is there food in your camp?" Chachu hasn't eaten for a long time. After listening to this, Liu Muxue stroked her head and said, "Of course there is. The owner of this territory is the big brother over there, and he is very powerful." Her tone revealed admiration. After hearing this, Tong Chachu immediately looked at Cao Xing, with a hint of fear and curiosity in her eyes. Then, she remembered something and asked tentatively, "Can you take my mother with you? Dad won't be back, and mom is still alone in the camp." Cao Xing was stunned. Yes, this version is a family team mode. Since Tong Chachu is with her father, her mother must be in the camp. However, this question made Cao Xing entangled. After all, human survivors are not those aborigines, and they will not easily rebel against the lords, and their loyalty can also be seen. He still knows the truth, that people's hearts are separated from their stomachs. The reason why he is willing to take this little girl is because she has no fighting power and can't pose any threat to Cao Xing. If it is those adults, it's hard to say. So, Cao Xing clicked on the system interface and asked, "If I want other survivors to join my territory, what should I do?" The system prompt appeared immediately. The answer to this question is the territory merger function, and there are currently two ways. Method 1. Invite the other party to join the territory as a new lord and share building permissions, resources, etc. Method 2. Recruit the other party to join the territory as a citizen. The other party only has simple residence and construction permissions and cannot attack friendly units. Seeing the second method, Cao Xing was sure. Great, I can recruit other survivors into the territory as citizens. In this way, I don't have to worry about the newly recruited survivors causing damage to my territory. Cao Xing looked at the little girl and asked, "Do you remember where your camp is?" The little girl nodded and said, "I remember. My mother taught me to read the small map. Our camp is about 5 kilometers away from this place." Cao Xing and Liu Muxue looked at each other. It's so close, no wonder they were targeted by those hunters. Liu Muxue asked softly, "Xing, can we go over and take a look?" Cao Xing thought for a moment. If it's 5 kilometers, we can go over. However, whether she is willing to join our territory depends on her mother's choice. After hearing this, Liu Muxue suddenly had a gentle smile on her face. She knew that Cao Xing would agree. Hearing this, the little girl gradually stopped crying and then kept thanking Cao Xing. "Thank you, big brother. Chachu will remember your kindness for the rest of her life." In this world, 2 days of cruel life have made her much more mature. Cao Xing shook his head and then looked at the other humans in the tent. "These are the natives of this world." Cao Xing said directly, "Do you know Jasmine and Sapphire?" The 6 humans on the ground looked at each other. One of the older humans said, "I know them. They are our companions." Cao Xing nodded. "Very good. They are now residents of my territory. It was she who told me that you were captured by the hunters. So now, are you willing to submit to me and join my territory?" Cao Xing didn't waste words. His purpose this time was to expand the territory's military strength. The older human asked tentatively, "My lord, where are the hunters outside?" Cao Xing replied, "As you can see, I have killed them all." The next moment, these humans said respectfully at the same time, "We are willing, respected lord." Cao Xing nodded with satisfaction, and then asked the taller Sam to walk over and cut the ropes on these humans and rescue them. Recruitment successful. Colin Hopper, Lacho Law, Moline Kun, joined your territory, and the territory population +6. Another group of Western names, 3 men and 3 women. Cao Xing's mouth twitched. He pointed directly at the slightly older human and said, "From today on, you are called Cao Yi, Cao and Cao San. The females will start with Siha and will be called Siha, Wuha, and Liuha, respectively." The humans looked at each other, then nodded and said, "Thank you, Lord, for the names." Then, a bunch of reminders of increased favorability sounded. Cao Xing looked at their attributes. Citizen, Cao Yi, level 3, talent, elementary speech skills, give a speech to appease the emotions of the citizens, loyalty. 70 hunger. 44. Citizen, SSS-level, Level 2, Talent, Elementary cooking skills. Cooked food increases satiety by an additional 20%. Loyalty. 72 Hunger. 47. Seeing the talents of these citizens, Cao Xing's eyes lit up. Wow, there are actually 2 people with special talents. Although the other citizens do not have talents, they are all at levels 2 to 4. The quality of this batch of citizens is very high. In this way, Cao Xing will have enough manpower to allocate and build various territory facilities. After recruiting this group of people, the population limit of his territory has become 25/50. After conquering all these refugees, Cao Xing saw a yellow wooden box in the corner of the camp. Approaching it, the system prompt appeared. Hunter's storage box, white, can be opened. Cao Xing directly clicked to open it. Get white bread * 17. Get wheat seeds * 72. Get milk * 5, get copper * 7, get a letter from the church. Special props. There are still a lot of supplies in it, and Cao Xing began to check it out. White bread. 1 white bread equals 2 food. Wheat seeds, white, can be planted on reclaimed land. Cao Xing was delighted. Can I farm? In this way, he is equivalent to having a fixed source of food, and he doesn't have to worry about the problem of eating up the mountain. However, if you want to farm, you need to reclaim a piece of land near the territory first. In addition, a shed must be built on top, otherwise if a blizzard occurs, all the seeds sown will be destroyed. Cao Xing continued to check. Chapter 30, The Hunter's Conspiracy and the Lord's Relics. Milk. After taking it, you can restore 10 points of satiety and 50 points of health. Some of it has gone bad, but it is still drinkable. Copper, a widely used metal that can be used to make some simple electrical components. Cao Xing thought, copper is also an important metal in this world. After all, many electrical appliances require copper. With copper, you can make wires, electric lights and other things. Making some snow robots and even some war robots requires a lot of copper. At this time, a yellowed letter appeared in his hand. This is also the last item in the storage box. Letter from the Church of Light. Special props. Click to read. Cao Xing clicked it, and a line of text suddenly popped up in front of him. To all believers of the God of Light, the Lord has sent down a revelation, announcing that the seed of salvation is about to appear in the world. In order to welcome the arrival of the seed of salvation, we will launch a blood sacrifice in the near future. All believers of light near the Ice Crystal Kingdom, please go to the base near the coordinates 71,231, 5213, 23,719. After the number of believers reaches a certain scale, we will launch an attack on Duelan Lake City and sacrifice the lives of the entire town to the seed of Savior. Note, this is a task prop. You can send the letter to Duelan Lake City to expose the conspiracy of the Church of Light in advance. After reading the introduction of this letter, Cao Xing frowned. Does this mean that the group of hunters will launch a massacre in the near future and directly kill all the residents of an entire town? Oh my god, it's really crazy. The system asked me to send a letter, but I don't even know where Duelan Lake City is. How can I send it? Cao Xing rolled his eyes. Then, he checked the coordinates recorded on the letter. Cao Xing breathed a sigh of relief. Fortunately, it is more than 200 kilometers away from me. Such a long distance should not affect my territory. However, although the hunter base is still some distance away from Cao Xing, but in this area, there is such a big unstable factor, which is still worrying. After all, he has seen the madness of the group of hunters. Shaking his head, Cao Xing had no solution now. He could only put aside the threat of the hunters for the time being. At least, he was safe during the novice protection period. Cao Xing walked out of the tent with Liu Muxue, the 6 civilians, and the little girl Tong Chachu. He came outside and looked at the corpses and blood all over the ground. Assam, Andrew, bring all these corpses here and burn them directly. The 2 powerful second-level creatures followed Cao Xing's instructions and collected all the corpses of the hunters on the ground. 10 minutes later, a huge fire burned fiercely, sweeping the entire camp. Looking at the rising smoke, the refugees burst into tears. During the time they were captured, they personally experienced the madness of the hunters. The companions around them were captured one by one, and then they made terrifying screams in the tent outside. They huddled on the cold ground, shivering, fearing that they would be the next one. And now, they have finally been freed. The little girl Tong Chachu, who was standing by, had tears on her face. Cao Xing turned around, looked at Tong Chachu and said, "Let's go, take me to your camp. I'll tell you the coordinates, big brother." Tong Chachu said timidly. Cao Xing nodded. Then, a group of more than 10 people rushed towards the coordinates Tong Chachu said. More than half an hour later, from a distance, they saw a campfire camp in the snow. There was only a simple lord's hut in this camp, and even the polar people's hut was not built. "This is it, big brother, sister, I'll go call my mother out," Tong Chachu said, and trotted into the campfire territory. Cao Xing was about to follow him in, but was prompted by the system. During the novice protection period, you cannot enter other survivors' camps. Cao Xing was stunned, and seemed to remember this. So they waited silently outside the territory. After a while, the Lord's hut was pushed open. A very tall woman with a net height of at least 175 walked out of it. At this time, she was still wearing the jeans she brought from Blue Star, and a tight white t-shirt on her upper body. Her hot body with a little flesh showed her mature charm. The woman took Tong Chachu's hand and walked over carefully. Her slightly mature face was still covered with tears, and it was obvious that she had just cried. And Cao Xing also saw her name. Survivor, Xianyani V1. As soon as Xianyani came out, she saw so many people gathered outside the territory, and her shoulders trembled. Especially as Sam riding a frost wolf, and Andrew who was as strong as a giant bear, gave her an extremely deadly sense of crisis. Xianyani was so scared that her face turned pale. Tong Chachu held her hand and comforted her. "Mom, don't be afraid, they are the good people who rescued me from that place. That big brother and big sister are their lords." Xianyani also recovered at this time. She looked at Cao Xing with misty eyes and said gratefully, "Thank you for saving Chachu. Thank you, benefactors." As she said, she was about to kneel down with Tong Chachu. Cao Xing hurriedly stopped them. "Madam, you don't have to be so polite. Chachu should have told you that my territory needs manpower now. If you are willing to join us, you can come back to the territory with us, help build the territory, and develop together. In return, we will ensure your safety and provide food." Xianyani had already heard about this from Chachu. She tugged at the corner of her clothes, as if she was also making some kind of decision. Cao Xing did not urge them. He knew that it really took a lot of courage to leave her camp and join a stranger's force like this. After a moment, Xianyani whispered, "I'm willing to join you. Thank you, this kind little brother, for being willing to take us in." Cao Xing nodded and sent them a recruitment invitation. The system prompt appeared. Survivors, Tong Chachu LV1, Xianyani LV1, joined your territory, and the territory population +2. All survivors in this territory have joined your force and are currently in an ownerless state. Do you want to occupy it? Cao Xing directly clicked occupy. Occupy successful. Now you can enter this territory. Cao Xing stepped into the campfire territory and then saw a large box next to it. Lord Tongguangrang's relic box. Do you want to open it? Yes. The relic box was opened successfully, and 54 pieces of wood, 24 pieces of stone, 3 pieces of food, 2 pieces of rat meat. These are the last resources of this territory. The remaining things are not even enough for the mother and daughter to survive for a day. In other words, if Cao Xing had not arrived, this woman would have starved to death in 2 days, because of the lack of food, or frozen to death, because of the lack of wood. Cao Xing took a deep breath. This world is full of opportunities, but also full of dangers. At this moment, Cao Xing made up his mind. He must develop his strength and territory as soon as possible, and he must not let his storage box become a relic box. Chapter 31 Territory Development, in full swing. Cao Xing directly collected the things in the Tongguangrang relic box. Then, he looked at everyone and said, "Okay, now let's hurry back to the territory." Following the route they came, they rushed to the camp. It took them almost 2 hours to get back this time. There was no other way. When there were too many people, the speed of travel would be slowed down. In fact, it was Cao Xing and his team who slowed down Sam and Andrew. One of them rode a frost wolf, and the other walked on 4 legs. The speed of movement on the snow could reach at least 30 km per hour. And Cao Xing and his team could reach a speed of 5 km per hour, which was considered good. The speed of movement in the snow was also a big problem. Cao Xing thought to himself, is there any way to speed up the movement speed in the snow? In his mind, he began to recall his experience when playing games. After a moment, Cao Xing thought, at present, there are 2 ways to speed up the movement of snow. The first is to tame those wild creatures and make them mounts. The stronger the creatures, the faster they can move in the snow. The second method is to develop technology. Click on the Technology Research Institute as soon as possible, and then use the blueprints to build snow bikes, motorcycles, transport vehicles, etc. Yes, you heard it right. In this mid-game, you can build all kinds of technology. In addition to these vehicles, Cao Xing also built the first helicopter after spending 448 days in the game. This is also the longest archive he has ever played. In short, this world is a real world, full of infinite possibilities. When Cao Xing and his friends returned to the territory, it was almost dark. Cao Xing looked up at the time above his head, due to the arrival of night. 0 hours and 50 minutes, novice protection period remaining. 3 days and 12 hours, the survivors are about to end the 3rd day of exploration. The group of polar people, as well as Dahua and the others, also saw this group of mighty figures. Dahua exclaimed when she saw the familiar faces. Oh my god. You guys are back. She flew over excitedly, and the 2 sides began to communicate, as if they had survived a disaster. Dazhuang also came to Cao Xing with a hammer in his hand. Lord, the bonfire has been upgraded successfully, and your lord's hut is also being upgraded at an accelerated pace. Cao Xing nodded, and then looked at the blazing bonfire in the center of the camp. Camp bonfire, level 5, bonfire effect. It can increase the temperature of an area within a radius of 160 meters by 1020 consumption. 10 minutes /forward or 25 minutes /2 coal. Materials required for the next level: stone * 60, wood * 40, iron * 20. Under the scorching flames, the surrounding ground covered with ice and snow gradually appeared. Only on these grounds can more buildings be built, and various crops can be planted. Therefore, the level of the bonfire determines the area of your territory. However, when the campfire is upgraded to an energy tower in the later stage, the heating range alone can reach the area of a city. The survivors develop their territories by constantly building various buildings. In the future, they will even be able to own a city of their own. Cao Xing nodded with satisfaction and said, Dazhuang, you did a good job. Next, you take Wu Zhuang and Liu Zhuang to continue collecting resources. Focus on collecting that coal mine. After the campfire is upgraded, it will consume a lot of coal. We need to ensure the heating of the camp. The polar man Dazhuang immediately straightened his body and said respectfully, yes, respected lord. Then, he hurried to work. Cao Xing called Zhuang over again. Zhuang, you take Qi Zhuang and Bei Zhuang to build more small shelters, canteens, etc., and try to complete them before dark. Let our new members have a place to eat and sleep. Yes, lord. Zhuang also received the order and took people to work. Cao Xing continued to order. Sun Zhuang, come here. Sun Zhuang, with a full beard, came to Cao Xing. Sun Zhuang, you don't need to build too many things. You just need to build a primary element arrow tower with Si Zhuang before dark. Sun Zhuang also said respectfully, I guarantee to complete the task, respected lord. For a while, the polar people were busy again. At this moment, the group of newly joined humans had also finished their communication. They saw the polar people working in the camp, and the slightly older Cao Yi's eyes moved slightly. Cao Yi hurriedly brought other refugees over, and then said respectfully, Lord, please give us more tasks. Cao Xing nodded, no hurry, I know you probably haven't eaten for several days. Before working, you must fill your stomach first. The group of newly joined people looked at each other, and they all saw surprise and relief in each other's eyes. It seemed that this was the first time they met such a considerate lord. Cao Xing continued, but there is no canteen now, you can eat some bread first. Cao Xing glanced at Liu Muxue next to him. Liu Muxue understood and took out a dozen loaves of bread from the territory resources. She gave 2 pieces to each new member of the territory. At this moment, Cao Yi and Suho looked at the bread in their hands, tears welling up in their eyes, and they were deeply moved. Then, they all knelt down. Thank you, the kind and generous lord. Thank you, the beautiful and kind second lord. The next moment, many system prompts appeared in the ears of Cao Xing and Liu Muxue. Due to your generosity, the loyalty of the territory member Cao Yi has been increased, and the current loyalty is 80. Due to your generosity, the loyalty of the territory member Suho has been increased, and the current loyalty is 78. Because of you, with this wave, the loyalty of this group of newly joined refugees has all increased by 510 points. Cao Xing nodded with satisfaction. Tong Chachu and Zai Yani, who were standing aside, looked at the white bread in the hands of the group of people in the territory and swallowed their saliva. They had been hungry for a while and were also eager for food. Cao Xing took out 4 pieces of bread from the resources of the territory and handed them to Zai Yani. Eat something first. The tall woman bent down slightly, stretched out her hand to take the bread, and then said gratefully, "Thank you. Thank you." Tong Chachu on the side also said with an innocent smile, "Thank you, big brother." Cao Xing smiled. When they finished eating the bread, everyone's satiety also increased a little. At this time, Cao Xing slowly said, "Cao Yi." Cao Yi immediately replied, "Lord, I'm here." Cao Xing, next, the group of people you brought will be under your command. Your next task is to continue to upgrade the campfire and collect resources. Wood and stones need to be collected. When there are more people, help Da Zhuang and others build some basic buildings. Cao Yi nodded quickly. "I obey the order." Then, Cao Xing looked at Dahua again. "Dahua, I'll give you this batch of wheat seeds. You take someone with you to find a place near the territory to cultivate the fields, and then plant this batch of wheat." Dahua, with cold white skin, took the seeds from Cao Xing's hand and gently stroked them. "This is a top quality wheat seed. It will definitely grow a batch of high quality wheat." She nodded and said, "Lord, I will complete the task you have assigned me." Then, this group of new residents in the territory also began to get busy. Cao Xing looked at the bustling scene in the territory and nodded with satisfaction. His territory started with a small bonfire and gradually had so many people and built more and more buildings. This is the fun of farming. Chapter 32 Ranking List announced. At this time, Cao Xing suddenly remembered something, and he suddenly asked, "By the way, is there anyone among you who can sew clothes?" He and Liu Muxue are still wearing wolf skins, which are not very effective in keeping out the cold. Although the sewing shop has been built, people need to be sent into work. People with sewing skills can speed up the process of making clothes. However, the polar people and the indigenous humans on the field looked at each other and then shook their heads blankly. Cao Xing understood, because when he subdued them, he saw the panels of these indigenous people and they had no talent for sewing. At this time, Zai Yani raised her hand and whispered, I can." Oh. Hearing this, Cao Xing was a little surprised and then looked at her. Zai Yani lowered her head timidly, as if she was afraid to look Cao Xing in the eye. She whispered, "When I was at home, I often did some handicrafts to supplement the family income, so I know a little sewing." Tong Chachu echoed, "Big brother, mom's craftsmanship is very good, and the clothes she made are very beautiful." Hearing her daughter's praise, Zai Yani blushed and said, "Chachu, don't praise mom. Mom only has some amateur skills, which can't compare with those professionals." Cao Xing nodded, then took off the wolf skin on himself and Liu Muxue and handed it to Zai Yani. "Then I'll trouble you to make clothes for me with these 2 wolf skins and see if the extra parts can be made into hats, gloves, etc." Yes, this is the best wolf skin." Zai Yani carefully finished and then asked tentatively, "Ming, can I give it to you tomorrow?" Cao Xing nodded and said, "Yes." Zai Yani breathed a sigh of relief and then took her daughter into the sewing shop. The other people in the territory also began to get busy. At this time, Liu Muxue stood by the campfire with her arms folded, watching Cao Xing arrange work for these people in the territory. Cao Xing looked up. It was dark and night was about to fall. In this world, darkness takes up more than half of the time, and there are less than 10 hours of light during the day. Muxue, let's go into the cabin first. Yes. Liu Muxue nodded gently. Then, the two of them got into the Warmlord's cabin together. Cao Xing was freezing, and got into the bearskin quilt first. Liu Muxue hesitated on the spot, lowering her head all the time, embarrassed to get close to Cao Xing. Cao Xing saw Liu Muxue's embarrassment, and she needed some time to adapt. So he asked, Muxue, do you want to sleep separately tonight? Hearing this, Liu Muxue's eyes widened, and she shook her head quickly. No, don't sleep separately. After saying that, her cheeks flushed, and with shame, she carefully got into the quilt. Liu Muxue hugged Cao Xing's body tightly, as if she was afraid of being separated from him. After a while, the slightly rapid breathing of the two people sounded in the room. At the same time, this unknown new world was gradually shrouded in the darkness of night. For all humans around the world, the second day of their arrival in this world was about to pass. Driven by the level rankings, a large number of survivors today tried to walk out of the snow. They were either with their families or alone, carefully exploring near the camp, and they all gained something. In the area where Area 174 is located, in a corner of this huge ice field, Fang Long, holding a black iron sword, killed a wild boar with one sword. Then, a white light rose from his body. Fang Long heard the upgrade prompt and a look of joy appeared in his eyes. Very good. I finally reached level 3 before dark. Since the rankings were opened, I have been looking for low level beasts outside to kill. There should be no one faster than me. This time, I will definitely get the first place in the rankings. On the other side, a middle-aged man with a face full of flesh was also leading his family to kill a stupid roe deer. This middle-aged man was Zhao Bo from the Xiandao Society. He chose a snow hunter profession, and he pulled a sandalwood longbow to its full length. Swish! The arrow shot out, and hit the silly roe deer's neck directly. The silly roe deer felt pain, and jumped away while looking back. Blood spilled on the snow, completely exposing its tracks. The silly roe deer was soon caught up by Zhao Bo, and then died under the hunting of his family. After killing the silly roe deer, Zhao Bo suddenly received a message. Boss, the coordinates of the brothers have been counted. There are 2 brothers camps within 30 kilometers of your camp. If we develop today, they should be able to reach you tomorrow. Zhao Bo's face was full of flesh, and a grim smile appeared. Very good. When the 2 brothers come tomorrow, we can team up to kill monsters together, and the upgrade efficiency can be greatly improved. By then, Fang Long and Wu Xinghu will all be trampled under my feet. After hanging up the call, Zhao Bo looked at the increasingly dark sky and said to his family, it's getting late. Let's go back to the camp first. A large number of survivors ended a day of exploration and returned to the camp. At this time, the chat channel gradually became lively. Zushu, brothers, it turns out that it is not difficult to team up with family members to deal with those low-level monsters. We have killed a wild boar today, which is enough for our family to eat for a few days. Zhangzi, hahaha. I chose the polar warrior, and I asked my father to choose the snow hunter. We are invincible together. Lindanian, oh my god. You all killed the prey, but I was so unlucky. I met a few frost goblins not long after I went out. I couldn't beat them at all. They chased me all the way, and are now guarding outside my camp. This is really unbearable. Yang Tao, the brothers upstairs are so miserable. Some are happy and some are sad. Most of the survivors have begun to contact this world. At this time, a countdown appeared. The level ranking is being counted. In 3 minutes, the level ranking of survivors in each region will be announced. You can check your level and related ranking in the ranking. The ranking is refreshed in real time. The survivors saw this system prompt and their expressions were immediately cheered up. Luzile, woohoo. The ranking list is finally out. Who do you think will be the first or top 3? Shenzhen, not sure. I just reached level 2, and it takes 1000 experience points to reach level 3, which is a bit scary. Yuan Wenli, needless to say, of course it's our Tiger Hall boss Wu Xinghu. Let me tell you, our boss has reached level 3. Cao Xing, you tiger hall think too much. Our boss Xiaobo has also reached level 3. The first place this time will definitely be our boss Xiaobo. Chen Heilang, don't argue. The first place will definitely be our boss Fang Long. The survivors heard the speeches of these three forces and said one after another, Chen Heio, it seems that the top 3 this time should have been taken by the 3 of them. Xiaobo, yes, those who can reach level 3 today are all those who have strength and resources. At this time, a voice prompt sounded. System announcement, all survivors, please note that the ranking list update has been completed. Thanks to the book friends, Pindeo's finger calculation for 100 points of reward and monthly ticket. Thanks to the passing programmer for 200 points of reward. Thanks to Zinshu for 100 points of reward. Chapter 33 Bear Bile Soup, increased blood volume. System announcement, attention all survivors, the level ranking has been updated. Hearing this announcement, the survivors in various regions around the world clicked on the ranking list, including the survivors in District 174. However, the ranking above exceeded everyone's expectations. Level ranking of District 174. First place, Cao Crossing, level 4, 1%. Second place, Wuzinghu, level 3, 25%. Third place, Xiaobo, level 3, 14%. Fourth place, Renyexu, level 3, 10%. Fifth place, Fang Long, level 3, 7%. Sixth place. Seeing this ranking list, the entire chat channel of District 174 fell into silence for a moment. Then, it was an overwhelming screen swiping. Chenhua, fuck. It's not Fang Long, nor Wuzinghu. The first place is actually Cao Crossing. Tao Mu, I really didn't expect that Cao Crossing would be the first. Too strong. Liu, how did Cao Crossing do it? Everyone was expressing their shock. A survivor named Durang said, I don't think you need to be so surprised. Boss Cao Crossing is the man who killed the bear. It's not surprising that he won the first place. Haha, I also think Boss Cao Crossing deserves the title. Thanks to his bear meat, my family has improved their attributes. Now we have not only survived the life and death crisis, but also gradually developed the territory. That's right, Boss Cao Crossing is the first place. I'm convinced. In the chat channel, the comments about Cao Crossing were almost one-sidedly positive. After all, the bear meat he sold did help a lot of people. At this time, Fang Long, Xiaobo and others all looked a little ugly. Damn it. How come this guy won the first place? Fang Long had a trace of anger and disbelief on his face. But soon he regained his composure. Fang Long slowly breathed a sigh of relief and said, fortunately, it's only a level 1 difference. There are still 3 days before the end of the novice protection period. It's enough for me to catch up with the level. Xiaobo on the other side also had an interested smile on his face. Interesting. I originally thought that this guy was just lucky and that he was finished after offending Fang Long. Now it seems that he does have some skills. Xiaobo opened the friend list, then clicked on the private chat and said, go, mobilize the network around you, and check the origin of this person called Cao Crossing. At this time, in the Lord's hut, outside the window, the snow reflected, and the cold wind whistled. In the room, the warm stove radiated heat. The small wooden bed creaked, and the temperature in the quilt was rising rapidly. The beauty blushed, tilted her head away, and dared not look into Cao Crossing's eyes, holding his neck tightly with both hands. A crossing, a crossing. The beauty's call was long and ethereal. The room was filled with the sweetness of lovemaking. After a while, with a long and ethereal charming voice, the noise in the room gradually subsided. Liu Muxue collapsed in Cao Crossing's arms, her eyes full of confusion. At this time, they also heard the system announcement. Liu Muxue bent her swan-like neck and said with excitement in her eyes, Xing, you are the first place, you are so awesome. Cao Crossing shook his head and said indifferently, it's just the temporary first place. I still can't relax before I get the reward. Liu Muxue looked at him admiringly, that's also amazing. After all, there are tens of thousands of people in our 174th district. Cao Xing smiled. We will continue to work hard tomorrow to see if we can give you a top 10 reward. Liu Muxue nodded lightly and responded with a fist. Yeah, I will try my best. It seems that, because the movement was too large and touched some parts, Liu Muxue's face turned red again. She looked at Cao Xing carefully, but found that he was also looking at her. Cao Xing lowered his head and kissed her again. The beauty was delicate and gentle. From the initial stiffness, she gradually relaxed. Her body twisted like a water snake and took the initiative to entangle Cao Xing. The temperature at night began to drop rapidly. However, the temperature in the room was still rising. The two spent a wonderful night. Early the next morning, Cao Xing saw several system prompts. Your territory building, small shelter, was built successfully. Your territory building, primary element arrow tower, was built successfully. Cao Xing's eyes lit up immediately. The arrow tower was built successfully. Through the window of the Lord's hut, Cao Xing saw that a 15-meter high hexagonal tower appeared on the edge of the campfire. The tower was built entirely of stone, and the elemental fluctuations faintly coming from it were full of deterrence. If an enemy approaches the 600-meter area near the camp, the arrow tower will automatically attack, which is very powerful. Cao Xing said with satisfaction. Very good. In this way, the safety near the territory at least doesn't have to worry about, and those polar people can also go out to collect resources better. At the same time, there was a knock on the door outside. Cao Xing and Liu Muxue put on their clothes, looked at the door and said, come in. The four people of the territory brought in a bowl of bear bile soup and a portion of roasted bear meat. A rich meaty aroma came. SSS said softly, Lord, the bear bile soup and grilled bear meat you asked me to make are ready. Please enjoy them. Cao Xing nodded, put them on the wooden table. These two ingredients can both improve attributes. Bear bile can directly increase 200 health points, and bear meat can increase 2 points of strength and constitution. For Cao Xing and Liu Muxue, both are significant improvements. This is also what Cao Xing explained to these people yesterday. SSS nodded, and then respectfully took his leave. Cao Xing, on the other hand, brought Liu Muxue to the dining table. He took the lead in eating a few bites of bear meat. In an instant, his mouth was full of the aroma of meat. Cao Xing praised, professional chef, the cooking skills are really good. A system prompt appeared. Successfully consumed bear meat, blue, and the attribute was improved. Strength +2, constitution +2. As expected, the attribute was improved. Then, Cao Xing used chopsticks to pick up the bear bile in the bowl. What surprised him was that Cao Xing did not get the system prompt for attribute improvement, even after eating a few bites. Cao Xing was a little confused and continued to eat the bear bile. It was not until he was almost full that the system prompt appeared. Successful consumption of bear bile. Maximum health increased by 200. Cao Xing looked happy. It turns out that you have to eat half of the bear bile to get the attribute improvement. So it seems that the remaining half can be improved again. So he looked at Liu Muxue on the side and said, Muxue, come here too. There is still half of this bear bile left, which should allow you to get attribute improvement as well. Liu Muxue walked over obediently, picked up the chopsticks used by Cao Xing, and started eating directly. The bear bile soup was delicious, and Liu Muxue took several minutes to finish it. Then, she looked at Cao Xing excitedly and said, Xing, my health has also increased. Cao Xing nodded. One bear bile brought them a 400-point health increase, which is quite good. Unfortunately, this kind of food is only effective when eaten for the first time. At this time, a system prompt sounded. Survivors, congratulations on having survived the third night of the Frozen Age. The remaining time of the novice protection period. 2 days to 2200 hours. Weather forecast. There will be a small snowfall tonight, and the lowest temperature will reach -70. Please pay attention to keep warm. Chapter 34 Phantom Assassin, reporting to you. Cao Xing's heart moved. There were still 3 days left in the novice protection period, which should be enough for him to reach level 10. Liu Muxue asked softly, Xing, will it snow tonight? Cao Crossing nodded. Yes, it will snow, but fortunately, it's okay as long as it's not a blizzard. With the current facilities in our territory, we can handle it. Liu Muxue nodded gently. Then, Cao Crossing took her and pushed open the door of the Lord's hut. Outside, the polar people and the newly joined people had been waiting here for a long time. When they saw Cao Crossing coming out, they said in unison, "I wish you good health, Lord." "Good morning, Lord. Please arrange today's work for us." The people were enthusiastic. Before this, they had been living a life of hunger. Just on the first day of arriving in Cao Crossing's territory, they felt the development prospects of this territory. Therefore, they cherished this opportunity very much. Cao Crossing nodded. "Today, continue the work I ordered yesterday. Collect more resources, and upgrade the bonfire and the Lord's hut. Let's build a more prosperous territory together." The people immediately replied respectfully, "Yes, Lord. I'm willing to give everything for the development of the territory." They dispersed and started their day's work. At this time, Xianyani and Tongchachu, each holding a set of thick clothes, stood by and waited silently. After seeing that Cao Crossing had arranged the work, Xianyani walked over carefully and said, Master, the clothes are ready." As a modern person, she seemed not used to using this address. Cao Crossing nodded. "Thank you for your hard work." "It's okay," Xianyani replied softly. After that, she and Tongchachu handed the sewn wolfskin coats to Cao Crossing and Liu Muxue respectively. Get wolfskin coat, white, *1, get wolfskin hat, white, *1. Right square bracket. These two clothes do not have any additional attributes, but they can play a good role in keeping out the cold. After the two put on the two warm clothes, they instantly felt that the severe cold of this world was isolated. Looking at Xianyana's pupils covered with dark circles, Cao Crossing knew that she must have stayed up late last night. So Cao Crossing took out 2 pieces of bear meat and a bottle of milk and handed them to Xianyani. After Xianyani took it, there was a strong look of surprise in her eyes. Lord, can you really give me such precious meat and milk?" Cao Crossing nodded and said, "Chachu is still young, give her some nourishment." Xianyana's eyes suddenly turned slightly red. She took Tongchachu's hand and nodded solemnly. Thank you. Tongchachu also happily hugged the milk and said happily, "Thank you, big brother." After arranging the work, Cao Crossing called Assam over again. "Assam, when you went out yesterday, besides rescuing Dahur and the others, did you find anything else?" Assam replied respectfully, "Yes, Lord, I drew a map of the surrounding area according to your instructions. It's just that I haven't finished exploring yet, so the map is not yet completed." After hearing this, Cao Crossing was immediately delighted and said, "It's okay if it's not completed, let me see it first." Assam nodded, then took out a yellowed parchment from the back of the frost wolf and handed it to Cao Crossing. The system prompt appeared. Get an unfinished map *1 right square bracket. Cao Crossing saw that this map recorded Assam's route. Liu Muxue also came to Cao Crossing's side, looking at the map with curiosity in her eyes. However, after seeing the rough simplified painting style on this parchment, she immediately laughed out loud. Some resource points are marked on it. For example, a tree means that there are wood resources in that place. A chicken means that there are wild beasts in that place. A stone means that there are mineral resources in that place. Thanks to Cao Crossing's excellent comprehension ability, otherwise he really couldn't understand the meaning. A somewhat embarrassed look appeared on Assam's resolute face. He scratched his head and said, I have never learned to paint, so I can only draw it simply." Liu Muxue comforted him. "It's okay, as long as you can understand it." Assam nodded gratefully. "Thank you, beautiful and kind second lord." At this time, Cao Crossing pointed to a dark hole near the territory and asked, "Assam, what is this?" Assam replied embarrassedly, "Lord, it's a mine. But it has been occupied by a group of mole people. I heard the roar of machines nearby." "The roar of machines?" Cao Crossing's eyes lit up. Because this means that there are probably some technological creations in that mine. Cao Crossing asked, "Assam, how strong are those mole men?" Assam shook his head and said, "My lord, I didn't go in to investigate. But mole men are underground creatures, and their general strength is around level 1. Occasionally, there may be some level 2 or 3 mole men. After hearing this, Cao Xing already had an idea in his mind. The mine is about 6 kilometers away from the territory, and it takes about 2 hours to go back and forth. So, Cao Xing nodded and said, very good, then our goal today is to explore this mole man mine. Try to raise the level of both Muxue and me. Assam saluted respectfully and said, I'm at your service at any time, respected lord. Andrew on the side had a pious look in his eyes, and he was also ready for battle. However, before setting off, Cao Xing had one more thing to do. That is, to use up the recruitment scroll to strengthen the strength of his team. Cao Xing took out a scroll from his backpack. Phantom Assassin Recruitment Scroll, blue. This scroll can be used to summon a Phantom Assassin with the strength of a level 20 elite. Without a doubt, this will be the most powerful creature that Cao Xing has recruited. Recruit? Cao Xing directly clicked yes. The picture in front of him flashed. This time, what appeared in front of Cao Xing was not a hexagram. Instead, it was a group of black mist. This group of black mist was expanding rapidly, and in a few seconds, it enveloped the entire camp. Cao Xing saw that there was a vague figure moving inside. There was no breath emanating from the figure, but it brought Cao Xing a deadly sense of crisis. The next moment, the mist dissipated. In front of Cao Xing, a woman wearing a black cloak and tight black leather armor appeared. This outfit set off her perfect body curves. On her head, a pitch black helmet covered most of her face, and only a slightly red lip could be seen under her cyan skin. She slowly opened her mouth and said, the Shadow Temple needs protection, and that's why I'm here. Phantom Assassin, Sarah Blade Dance reports to you. Thanks to the book friends, Shire Tong Biao for a monthly ticket. Thanks to Hasp for a monthly ticket, and thanks to the book friends for their recommendation tickets. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 35, The Powerful Phantom Assassin. The Phantom Assassin named Sarah saluted slightly to Cao Xing, and the two shadow blades in his hands emitted a chilling cold light. Cao Xing nodded. Welcome to join us, Sarah Blade Dance. Sarah did not respond. Liu Muxue also whispered, welcome, Sarah. Hearing the voice, the cold Phantom Assassin looked at Liu Muxue, and then responded, thank you, beautiful lady, Sarah Blade Dance is at your service. Cao Xing rolled his eyes. This Phantom Assassin is a bit cold, only responding to Liu Muxue, and ignoring him. However, he has long been accustomed to the cold reaction of these newcomers when they were first recruited, and a barely detectable smile appeared at the corner of his mouth. Then, Cao Xing checked the attributes of this Phantom Assassin. Phantom Assassin, Sarah Blade Dance, race, Dark Elf, level 27,613/10000, second order elite creature, HP 6713, equipment bonus, attack power 731754, weapon bonus, armor 134151, equipment bonus, attributes, strength 234, agility 307, spirit 227, constitution 251, skills, dagger of obstacles, throws a dagger, causing damage of 130% of the attack power to the enemy, and reducing the enemy's agility by 135 points. Cooldown time is 180 seconds. Phantom invisibility, blurs your own figure and hides your breath. In the hidden state, the dodge probability is increased by 30% and the movement speed is increased by 20%. The duration is 5 minutes and the cooldown time is 8 minutes. Gift, shadow body. In the hidden state, the dodge rate is increased by 15%. Bond, assassin. When there are more than 3 assassins in the team, the chance of triggering the gift of liberation increases by 5%. And when there are more than 10 assassins, the chance of triggering it increases by 10%. Satisfaction 63. Loyalty 59. Cao Xing's eyes showed an unconcealed astonishment. Obviously, this is a very terrifying existence. With an attack power of nearly 700, a random knife can trigger a critical hit, which is even comparable to a shot from a Barrett. If Gift of Liberation is triggered, the damage of that knife can directly cut off the enemy's skull. Cao Xing sighed at this time. This is not an assassin. This is simply a berserker. One knife to kill a kid. However, Sarah is very strong now. But after Cao Xing's permanent talent blessing, it can be upgraded to a few more levels. So, Cao Xing looked at Sarah with interest and said, "So, Sarah, I'm going to bless you now. Are you willing to accept it?" Sarah opened her lips slightly and asked doubtfully, "Blessing?" Cao Xing nodded, "Yes." Sarah didn't answer and seemed a little hesitant. First, she didn't trust this new lord, and second, she felt that with the other party's weak strength, what powerful blessing effect could he cast on her? After waiting for a moment, Sarah still nodded slightly. "Okay, please bless me." Then, Cao Xing didn't need to say more. Irina then blessed her with Snake Man Frenzy and Scale Armor. Sarah's body trembled, and she clearly felt the power of this force. Her thin lips opened slightly, and before she could speak, Cao Xing also threw Ice Healing, Ice Armor, and Liu Muxue's Aurora Blessing. After 5 permanent buffs were applied in a row, Sarah froze in place. Then, Cao Xing saw that her shoulders were trembling slightly. As an assassin who often carries out assassination missions, Sarah knows better than anyone how terrible these permanent states are. Not only can it greatly increase her endurance, but it can also increase her ability to survive. Especially Irina's Snakeman Frenzy, which is a percentage bonus buff. Sarah can feel that her movement speed and attack speed have increased again. Under the helmet, there was a heavy gasp. Then, she put the shadow blade in her hand on her chest and saluted Cao Xing respectfully. "Thank you for your blessing, great lord." Sarah Blade Dance, "I'm willing to offer my loyalty to you." Sarah's salute was sincere. A system prompt also appeared in Cao Xing's ears. "You help follower. Sarah Blade Dance improves strength. Loyalty has been increased. Current loyalty 71. Cao Xing smiled. Then, he looked at the other people in the territory. "Then, let's continue our journey. The target is the Mole Man Mine." Sam and Andrew responded. "Follow the will of the Lord." The cold Sarah also whispered at this time, "The Shadow Temple will guide me forward." Cao Xing nodded with satisfaction. Then, he took Liu Muxue with him. A total of 5 figures walked out of the camp and headed for the boundless snowfield. An hour later, everyone appeared in the vast ice field. A large string of footprints was left in the snow behind them. The weather forecast said that it would snow tonight, and these footprints would soon be covered. Cao Xing stopped, because they had come to the location marked on Sam's map. It was a snow-covered mountain, and there seemed to be a passage leading to the underground at the foot of the mountain. Sam took the lead and said, "Lord, that is the mine I found yesterday." Cao Xing nodded and continued to lead people forward. When they approached, a system prompt appeared in front of them. Mole Man Mine, Special Area. There are a large number of mole men active inside, as well as some special dangers. Please approach with caution. Degree of danger, extremely dangerous. It was extremely dangerous again. But Cao Xing didn't care. Compared to when he was in the hunter camp, his strength had improved a lot. Cao Xing waved his hand and said, "Go in." Everyone understood and moved forward into the mine together. Andrew, who had the highest defense, walked in front, and Sam was the second to enter. As for Sarah, she disappeared into the darkness when she entered the mine. Cao Xing didn't sense her presence at all, but he knew that Sarah was by his side. Liu Muxue held up her shield and looked around vigilantly. She knew that her mission was to protect Cao Xing from harm. When they stepped into the mine, a system prompt appeared. "You have entered the special area, Mole Man Mine. Current temperature, -34. The temperature inside the mine was higher, gradually dispelling the chill in the body. Cao Xing saw 1 or 2 torches emitting blue flames on the wall of the mine. Sam, help me take down these torches." Sam did as he was told. Obtained a magic stone torch * 1 right square bracket, magic stone torch, a low energy lighting tool. 1 magic stone can provide lighting for up to half a year. Note, you can take out the magic stone from the torch. Chapter 36. Take all the rails and mine carts away. Cao Xing's eyes lit up. This thing is a good thing. Some mechanical creations in this world need energy to operate, and this energy relies on magic stone. In the later stage, energy tower, and some other buildings all need magic stone to provide energy. This thing is also a hard currency like elemental crystals. Cao Xing nodded and said, Assam, Andrew, take down all the magic stone torches for me. The two did as they were told, and took down the torches one by one. Magic stone torch +1. Magic stone torch +1. System prompts kept appearing in Cao Xing's ears. Then, Cao Xing saw the rails on the ground in the minecart lying on the side. Abandoned minecart. White. Mole man's mining tool. You can disassemble it to get 8 pieces of iron, or take it back to the territory and use 4 pieces of iron to repair it. Railway. White. You can build a rail to speed up the transportation of minerals. You can disassemble it to get 4 pieces of iron. Cao Xing's eyes lit up immediately. These two are also good stuff. As long as there are enough rails, you can even build a track near the territory and connect it to the mine. In this way, the speed of mineral mining can be greatly accelerated. Take it away. Take it all away. Cao Xing directly collected all the minecarts and rails. Get abandoned minecart. White. Asterisk 1 right square bracket. Get rail. White. Asterisk 1 right square bracket. Get. Cao Xing nodded with satisfaction. From the entrance area, a total of 17 magic stone torches, 3 abandoned minecarts, and 15 railroad tracks were harvested. 1 railroad track equals 1 meter in length. The harvest is still good. Cao Xing continued to lead people forward. After walking for a while, they heard the sound of clang of chiseling coming from the front. Looking closer, there were dozens of short creatures with short limbs and rad heads. Mole man miner, level 5, race, beast health. 440 attack. 4145, attributes, strength 21, agility 15, spirit 18, constitution 22, skills, gouge, waves a pickaxe to deal 110% of the attack power to the enemy, talent. Night vision. After living underground for a long time, the mole man have completed the evolution of their vision, and they can see more clearly in the dark. Mole man overseer, level 7, race, beast/human health. 620 attack. 5759, attributes, strength 31, agility 24, spirit 25, constitution 33, skills, whip, waves the whip in hand, to speed up the mole man miner's work speed by 10%, the effect lasts for 5 minutes. Cower, when the health value drops below 30%, the mole man overseer's movement speed increases by 20%, and he will choose to run away. Talent, night vision. Seeing Andrew and the others coming, the group of molemen immediately made threatening sounds of kai kai kai. The moleman supervisor waved the long whip in his hand. Snap. It's an intruder. Go kill them. The group of molemen were afraid of the whip in the supervisor's hand, and they all picked up their picks and rushed towards Cao Xing and his men. Kai. Kai kai kai. Cao Xing didn't need to say more. Assam and Andrew, as well as the frost wolf Winter, rushed over together. Roar. The narrow mine was directly filled with 3 huge monsters. Andrew took the lead, running wildly on the ground like a mad giant bear, knocking the molemen away one by one. Bang. Bang bang. -173, -178, -164. The damage numbers floated one by one. With Andrew's terrifying power, the impact damage alone was enough to cause these molemen to lose a lot of blood. Before the fallen molemen could get up, they saw Assam's longsword stabbing at them. Puff. -437. Assam's sword pierced its head directly, causing critical damage. Your subject, Assam, killed a LV5 moleman and gained 50 experience points. You gain 25 experience points. The frost wolf Winter on the side also pounced on a moleman and started to bite it madly. Chiji. Chiji. After a confrontation, the moleman miners were defeated. What was even more terrifying was that a cold light kept flashing in the darkness. Every time the cold light floated, it would bring a terrifying damage number. -704, -753, -1614. One by one, the molemen were killed on the spot without even a scream. Your subject, Sarah Blade Dance, killed the level 6 mole man and gained 60 experience points. You gained 30 experience points. The prompts of experience gain kept coming. Cao Xing said in surprise from the back. Oh my. This damage. As expected of a level 20 elite assassin, it's like chopping melons and vegetables. Sarah's attack power was very strong, and Cao Xing couldn't close his legs in the back. He and Liu Muxue stood directly in the back, and they didn't even need to do anything. The number of mole men gradually decreased. Although there were many of them, they couldn't withstand such a terrifying killing speed. Even the mole man supervisor had a look of fear in his eyes. The experience value prompts kept coming. After a while, a white light rose from Liu Muxue's body. She said excitedly, "Xing, I've leveled up. Congratulations." Cao Xing smiled. He took a look at Liu Muxue's current attributes. Survivor, Liu Muxue, race, blue star human, level 3 and 20 over 2000. Detailed attributes, click to expand. Cao Xing nodded. After reaching level 3, Liu Muxue's attributes have been improved again. With the equipment and so many buffs on her body, her current defense is much stronger than some level 7 or 8 wild monsters. Liu Muxue whispered, Xing, the system prompts me that I have entered the top 20 of the rankings. It seems that more people have reached level 3 now. Cao Xing said, it's okay. The upgrade is still very fast in the front, and the difficulty will increase in the back. Our speed should not be comparable to that of ordinary survivors. Liu Muxue nodded gently. Cao Xing looked at his experience value. Level 4, 41% now. He is still the first in the ranking. Zalbo, Fang Long and others below are also catching up. Liu Muxue looked at the battlefield in front of her and then asked tentatively, Xing, can I go to fight too? Cao Xing saw the seriousness on her face and knew that Liu Muxue really needed to experience more. Moreover, with her current defense, it would not be a problem for her to withstand a mole miner. So, Cao Xing nodded and said, you go, Muxue, remember to be careful. Okay, Xing, I'll be careful. Liu Muxue took a deep breath, raised her shield, held the long sword in her right hand, and rushed over. She soon faced a mole miner. The mole man opened his big mouth full of fangs, then swung the pickaxe, and attacked Liu Muxue's shield fiercely. Bang, bang bang. The mole miner swung the pickaxe and attacked continuously. Liu Muxue gritted her teeth and struggled to withstand the enemy's attack. -8, -13, one by one, weak damage numbers floated above her head. However, the next second, her health was directly restored to full by ice healing. +10, +10, green recovery numbers floated. Chapter 37 Can I spank you? +10 reply numbers appeared above Liu Muxue's head. When she found that the mole man could not harm her, she breathed a sigh of relief. Then she remembered the scene when Cao Xing taught her to fight. While feeling a little shy, she gradually found the feeling of fighting. So, Liu Muxue stabbed with a sword and hit the mole man's chest. -30 to the mole man's chest was bleeding, and it kept making kai 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 sounds. It swung the pickaxe and hit it again. Liu Muxue was shocked and took 2 steps back. Then she picked up the long sword and stabbed again. Puff. What happened next? The mole man hit her with a pickaxe, and then Liu Muxue hit it back with a sword. The two sides started a round-based battle. This scene made Cao Xing want to laugh. However, it was good enough for Liu Muxue to do this. After a minute or two, the number of mole men in the mine became fewer and fewer. Watching his recruited creatures fighting in front, Cao Xing also raised his staff. A large amount of frost power condensed between his staff. Then, 3 40cm long ice cones with crystal clear surfaces and emitting coldness appeared in front of Cao Xing. Cao Xing waved his staff, go. The next moment, 3 ice cones shot out. All hit one of the mole miners. -68, -71, -103. The 3 ice cones took away more than 200 health points of the mole miner. Cao Xing was quite satisfied with this damage. After all, he was only a level 4 frost mage now. However, compared with Sarah's casual knife, the damage number was more than 700 or 800, which was still a huge gap. Soon, all the mole miners here were killed by them. At this moment, the mole supervisor holding a long whip had a look of fear in his eyes. He turned around and ran towards the depths of the mine. And at this moment, Sarah emerged from the shadows. She raised her right hand and threw a pitch black dagger, hitting the back of the mole man overseer. Kai. The mole man overseer screamed, and then a damage number appeared above his head. -843. With one strike, his health points were directly reduced to 0. Sarah, who was level 20, was too strong. Sarah, you did a good job. Cao Xing praised from behind. Sarah still reacted coldly as usual, but this time she had one more line. The Shadow Temple is guiding me forward. Cao Xing nodded and thought to himself, Sarah's level has reached the advancement requirement. If she can get a second level Heart of Power at this time, Sarah can advance to a third level creature. By then, her strength will double. However, a second level Heart of Power is not that easy to obtain. I'll see when I have a chance in the future. After the battle, it was natural to start cleaning up the battlefield. Cao Xing was under the bodies of the mole men, preparing to start searching for spoils. At this time, a system prompt appeared again. Humanoid creature, cannot be decomposed. Cao Xing's mouth twitched. Why does this system always think that it will do such a thing? Under the mole man, Cao Xing fumbled around and found a lot of things. Get dry food asterisk 5, get chaos book weak asterisk 1, get viscous liquid asterisk 1, iron ingot asterisk 1, iron pickaxe asterisk 1. Right square bracket. Cao Xing began to check the introduction of these things. Dry food, white, food that is difficult to swallow. 1 piece of dry food equals 1 food. Chaos book weak, make friendly units randomly increase 1 point of 4-dimensional attributes. Note, cannot be used on lords. Viscous liquid, white, black viscous liquid, the function is unknown. It seems to be some kind of alchemical material. If you meet a merchant in the wild, you can try to sell it. Iron ingot, white. After decomposition, you can get iron asterisk 5 right square bracket. Iron pickaxe, white. Attack power 45, can be used to mine ore. Cao Xing thought to himself, this book of chaos seems to be pretty good. If enough of it is exploded, it can even stack the attributes of one of the recruited creatures to a terrifying level. Unfortunately, I can't use it on myself. Then, Cao Xing spent about 5 minutes to quickly clean up the battlefield. Total, dry food right square bracket asterisk 130, Book of Chaos weak right square bracket asterisk 3. In addition to these, there are some materials and a piece of equipment. Viscous liquid, white, right square bracket asterisk 31. Iron pickaxe, white, right square bracket asterisk 27. Iron ingot, white, right square bracket asterisk 4. Mole man overseer whip, green, asterisk 1 right square bracket. The interesting thing is the last piece of equipment. Mole man overseer whip, green, special equipment, quality, excellent, attack power 1315. Additional special effect, whipping. Use the whip to whip the target, to speed up the work and increase its movement speed by 10% in the next 5 minutes. Additional special effect, pain increase. The whip is covered with olive oil, and the pain caused by whipping is increased by 50%. After reading the above introduction, Cao Xing's expression was a little strange. This thing, isn't it also an amplification effect? If combined with my hidden talent, can it become a permanent state? Cao Xing decided to experiment first. After all, 10% movement speed is still quite good. So, in the surprised eyes of Liu Muxue, Andrew and others, Cao Xing whipped himself hard. Snap. -7. After a crisp sound, Cao Xing took a breath of cold air. Hiss. It hurts. Although the damage of this thing is not high, because of the existence of the second special effect, pain increase, it really hurts to be whipped. Before Cao Xing recovered from the pain, he received a system prompt. You are whipped, and your movement speed increases by 10%. The effect lasts for 5 minutes. Talent, Eternal Power, is activated, and, whip, has become a permanent amplification state. Cao Xing. Oh my god, it really works? Cao Xing was directly confused. Then, He seemed to have thought of something, and a look of surprise appeared on his face. Because in this way, with the skill, Snakeman Frenzy, it is equivalent to permanently increasing the movement speed of himself and other friendly units by 30%. This is a huge improvement. Liu Muxue and others on the side were confused. They saw with their own eyes that Cao Xing grimaced in pain after whipping himself. Then, his eyes suddenly became excited. It was as if he had awakened some strange attribute. And now, he is looking at them with that excited look. The upright Assam didn't know what was going on. He asked, "Lord, what's wrong with you?" Cao Xing raised his head, looked at him and said, "Assam, let me whip you, okay?" Assam. Liu Muxue. Sarah. Although this request was strange, Assam's loyalty was as high as 95, so he would not disobey Cao Xing's order. He seemed to have made a difficult decision and nodded. "If the Lord wants, you can." Cao Xing was not polite either. He waved the long whip and whipped Assam directly. Snap. Chapter 38. Or all over the ground. Fork in the road. Assam's resolute face frowned because of the pain. After a moment, he also felt a surge of strength in his body, with a look of surprise in his eyes. "So, this is what the Lord intended? It's amazing. Thank you for the whip, respected Lord," Assam said respectfully. At this time, Assam said a little embarrassedly, "Lord, can you whip me a few more times?" Assam wants to become stronger. Cao Xing shook his head and said, "No, only the first whipping will be effective." Hearing this, Assam nodded with some regret. The people next to them, listening to their conversation, fell into complete confusion. Although they knew that Cao Xing's actions might have some intention, it was too strange. Cao Xing knew that they had thought wrongly, coughed twice, and then explained to them the effect of this whip. After listening to it, everyone's eyes showed a look of sudden realization. At this time, Cao Xing said, "Well, Andrew, Sarah, let me bless you too." Andrew and Sarah looked at each other and nodded. Cao Xing whipped them one by one. Snap, snap. The sound of whips rang out in this deep mine. Andrew was fine, as he had thick skin and flesh, so the pain had no effect on him. Sarah, on the other hand, was trembling slightly. When it was Liu Muxue's turn, she looked at the whip in Cao Xing's hand with some fear and whispered, Crossing, me, do I want one too?" Cao Xing thought for a moment and nodded. "Well, 10% of the movement speed is a big improvement. Besides, you only need to whip them for the first time, just bear with it, and it will pass." Liu Muxue thought for a moment and nodded. Well, Cao Xing didn't have any extra thoughts, and whipped them directly. Ugh. Liu Muxue groaned and looked at Cao Xing pitifully. "It hurts, it hurts." Seeing this scene, Cao Xing couldn't help but think of what happened last night, and for a moment he felt a little angry, but he soon calmed down. Cao Xing coughed twice and said, "The state has been strengthened, let's continue to move forward." Andrew and Assam continued to move forward. There was a rail in the passage, extending deeper. Cao Xing collected the rails on the ground while moving along the route. Rail plus one, rail plus one. Not long after walking, Cao Xing had collected hundreds of meters of rails. Even if it was broken down into iron, there were hundreds of pieces. Cao Xing said happily, "If I pick up a few more rails, I can connect that coal mine with my territory, and the speed of collecting resources will be greatly increased." At this time, a fork in the road appeared in the mine ahead. The left intersection seemed to lead to the depths of the mine, and the roar of machines could be heard faintly from inside. The right intersection was sealed with wooden boards, and a red X was painted on it. This seemed to be a restricted area. Everyone stopped where they were, waiting for Cao Xing's decision. Cao Xing thought for a moment and said, "Andrew, take down the wooden board. I'll see what's inside first." Andrew obeyed the order, and waved his huge bare claws and slapped over. Crack, crack. The wooden board was smashed directly, and the scene inside the mine appeared. Cao Xing saw that there seemed to be several collapsed mine carts in the mine ahead, and some excavated ore was scattered on the ground next to them. The group of mole people seemed to have encountered something, and stayed here without evacuating in time. Sarah in the shadow suddenly said, "I sensed a dangerous breath inside." Cao Xing frowned after hearing this. Sarah was a level 20 elite monster. Even she felt dangerous, which meant that there was some kind of terrible creature inside. Cao Crossing said, Sarah, go and explore. Sarah nodded, and then disappeared directly into the shadow. A minute later, Sarah reappeared and said, detection completed. There is a second level monster's lair inside. Second level monster, how strong is it? Sarah thought for a moment and replied, it should be as strong as me. Cao Crossing nodded suddenly. As strong as Sarah, it must be a level 20 elite monster. Cao Crossing asked, are you sure you can deal with it? Sarah thought for a moment and replied, with the blessing of the Lord, it shouldn't be a problem. If we cooperate with these two companions, we will basically win. Cao Crossing was determined after hearing this. Very good, let's go in directly. After saying that, Andrew and Assam walked directly to the mine on the right. Cao Crossing and Liu Muxue followed behind. He soon came to one of the collapsed mine carts, with some more scattered beside it. Cao Crossing directly packed up the minecart or on the ground, and took them away. Obtained 1 minecart, 31 iron ores, 7 cursed metals, 8 mithril ores, 17 magic stones, 64 stones. So many mithril and magic stones? Cao Crossing was delighted. You know, these are all high grade materials and worth a lot of money. Cao Crossing began to check. Iron ore can be processed in an ore processing plant. 1 piece of ore can be processed into 5 pieces of iron. Cursed metal, a metal that incorporates the resentment of the dead, can be used to make some evil or chemical tools. Mithril ore can be processed in an ore processing plant. 1 piece of mithril ore can be processed into 3 pieces of mithril. Note, requires a level 3 ore processing plant. Magic stone, a stone containing energy that can provide energy for some special devices. Cao Crossing nodded with satisfaction and looked at the other mine carts on the ground. Then he packed them all up and took them away. Obtained minecart asterisk 1, obtained iron ore asterisk 42, cursed metal asterisk 9, mithril ore asterisk 7, magic stone asterisk 19, stone asterisk 72. In addition to these, the railroad tracks on the ground were not spared. Obtained railroad tracks asterisk 42, obtained abandoned minecarts asterisk 7, obtained. Cao Crossing followed and drew Assam all the way, and then packed up various ores on the ground, and took them away. Liu Muxue was also helping to collect. While picking up, he said with a happy smile, Xing, there are so many iron ores and mithril ores. Cao Crossing nodded, this trip is really good, just these ores and minecarts, it's worth the trip. Liu Muxue's face was also full of joy of harvest. Obviously, the Mole Man mine is a high-level area. At least with the current survivor's strength, there is no way to get in. And Cao Crossing, because he has 3 generals under his command, can enter the Mole Man mine to search for treasures at this level. The harvest can be said to be quite rich. So far, Cao Crossing has collected nearly 200 sections of rails. Fortunately, the survivor's carry-on backpack function has 20 grids of storage space. Materials of the same type like this can be stacked into 400 pieces and put together. And large items like minecarts can also be stacked nearly 100, taking up only 1 grid of space. The carry-on backpack is still quite large. Everyone began to move forward until they came to the depths of the passage. The light here was dim. However, as Cao Crossing took out the magic stone torch from his backpack, the darkness inside was immediately dispelled. They noticed that some white spider webs appeared on the top and sides of the mine. The further you go in, the denser the spider webs become. There are even some large webs that fill the passage and block everyone's way. At the same time, an evil and powerful breath came to the face. Thanks to the book friend, Zuanhei, for the monthly ticket. Thank you for your recommendation tickets. The author would like to thank you. Chapter 39, Crypt Spider Nest. Deep in the cave, an evil, powerful breath came to his face. Cao Crossing frowned, and then ordered, Assam, clear the passage. Assam waved his sword, and chopped directly at the spider webs. Puff. However, his sharp sword was like chopping on jelly, and its power was greatly reduced. It took several chops to clear the spider webs. Cao Crossing thought secretly. Obviously, the best way to deal with these spider webs is to use fire. But in this world, fire is a relatively rare element. Cao Crossing is a frost mage, so he can't control fire. At this time, Sarah said, "Lord, let me open the way for you." Cao Xing looked at her. "Go, Sarah, show us your power." Sarah nodded, and her figure flashed, and she appeared directly in front of the spider web. Then she waved the shadow blade in her hand. Swish. With one knife, a large gap was split in these tough spider webs. Sure. After a few cuts, the passage was cleared. Cao Xing was amazed. Sarah once again showed everyone her powerful attack. "Keep going," Cao Xing ordered. They continued to walk deeper into the mine. The deeper they went, the darker the surrounding environment became. Liu Muxue almost stuck to Cao Xing. She had an instinctive fear of such a deep cave. Cao Xing didn't care and let her hold his hand and continue to move forward. The hunters in this area seemed to have noticed that prey had entered the mine. Rustle. There was a crawling sound from inside. "Be alert." Cao Xing's expression suddenly froze, and everyone entered a combat state. Liu Muxue also raised her shield and nervously guarded Cao Xing. After waiting for a while, no monster appeared. But Cao Xing found that there were faint green lights in front of him. Cao Xing continued to give orders. "Sarah, look ahead." Sarah nodded, and then disappeared into the darkness. After a moment, Sarah reappeared. "Lord, there is a cave inside, which should be the lair of the monster." Cao Xing nodded, and then let everyone in. A system prompt appeared. "You have entered a special area, the lair of the crypt spider. A powerful predator lives here. Please be vigilant, and don't become its nutrients." Cao Xing saw that the cave in front of him was covered with spider webs, and large white cocoons wrapped like dumplings were hanging upside down above everyone's heads. On the ground, there were also glowing spheres of varying sizes with green mucus. The big ones were nearly 1 meter high, and the small ones were more than 10 centimeters high. The green light was emitted by these spheres. Cao Xing looked over. Demon spider eggs, small. After being exploded, 3 to 8 level 3 small demon spiders will appear. Don't underestimate them. Just because they are small but deadly. Demon spider egg, large. After it explodes, 1 to 2 large demon spiders of level 15 will appear. Large demon spiders, big heads. Be careful not to be swallowed. Cao Xing looked over and saw at least dozens of demon spider eggs on the ground of this nest. Oh my god. So many demon spider eggs. If all exploded, there would be at least dozens of crypt demon spiders. Cao Xing couldn't help but feel a little numb. He was just about to say that he would clear these demon spider eggs first. At this time, the spider webs above everyone's heads began to tremble. Buzz. Cao Xing only felt that an evil and powerful breath was approaching him quickly. Under the pressure of this breath, he was like a bug that fell into a spider web without any chance of resistance. Liu Muxue next to him was also a little pale. This monster brought them a sense of oppression from the depths of their souls. The next moment, a terrifying figure with a body size of more than 5 meters and covered with hair occupied everyone's sight. Green mucus was still dripping from the bulging belly. The 8 compound eyes emitted a creepy light in the dark environment, as if they could read all the thoughts of the prey below. The real owner appeared. At this moment, the giant spider launched an attack the moment it saw the people below. It swung its belly and a stream of pure white spider silk gushed out. The target was Andrew, the largest one. The spider silk instantly wrapped around Andrew's body, and the system prompt appeared. Your follower Andrew was attacked by the spider web of the crypt spider and has been restricted in action. However, at this moment, Andrew roared and his body swelled rapidly. Evil guy, let nature impose sanctions on you. It entered the giant bear form without hesitation. A snow white big white bear appeared, and then Andrew violently tore the spider web on his body and forcibly broke free. Knock it down. Cao Xing suppressed the feeling of fear in his heart and gave a direct order. Roar. Andrew, who turned into a giant bear, suddenly jumped up, rushed into the air, and pounced on the demon spider. However, the big spider knew what its advantage was. It quickly retreated, leaving Andrew's claws empty. Swish. Andrew's claws tore apart large pieces of spider web, and at this moment, in the dark shadows, a cold light flew out silently. Whoosh. Puff. Sarah's dagger of obstacles hit the crypt spider. -643. A big damage number floated up. Hiss. Hiss. The crypt spider felt pain and twitched all over. At the same time, 3 ice cones shot out at the same time. It was Cao Xing who also launched an attack. Swish. Whoosh. All the ice cones hit. -17, -15, -17. 3 weak damage numbers appeared. However, the damage was not the main thing. The main thing was that one of the ice cones triggered the freezing effect. The huge body of the crypt spider was immediately covered with a layer of frost. Its body froze, and it fell from the top of its head like a kite with a broken string. Plop. Cao Xing said happily, ice cone is a really useful skill. Each ice cone has a 30% chance of freezing. If all of them hit, there is a high probability that they will cause a short-term control effect on the enemy. At this time, the crypt spider that fell from the sky lost its long-range advantage. Cao Xing ordered, go, surround and kill it. Andrew, Assam, and Frostwolf Winter all rushed over. Raw. Accept the judgment of the Frostwolf Knight. The crypt spider had recovered from its short-term freezing state at this moment. It wanted to climb back into the sky. However, the 3 tall creatures had surrounded it, leaving it no chance to escape. The crypt spider had no choice but to engage in a head-on battle. Its limbs bounced and it bit Andrew. Puff. A damage number appeared above Andrew's head. -304, -8, -8. Andrew's attributes in the giant bear form were greatly improved, and his health was almost over 8,000. Plus the 2 armor effects added by Cao Xing, it can be said to be a blood cow. However, the bite of the crypt spider not only caused more than 300 damage, but also added the poisoning state. This shows how terrifying the attack power of this spider is. However, the next second, green numbers, +10, +10, appeared above Andrew's head. Chapter 40, Stop. Leave the head to me. Andrew felt his vitality recovering, and said devoutly, this is the power that the Lord has bestowed upon me. Evil will eventually be punished. He slapped his hand. -243, the system prompt appeared. Andrew has caused damage to the crypt spider, and the skill mark of the wild has taken effect. A bear claw symbol appeared on the head of the crypt spider, and its defense value also dropped sharply. Then, a salmon frost wolf also attacked the huge body of the crypt spider. -152, -78. These 2 damage numbers were caused by a salmon frost wolf. Although Assam's attack power was very strong, but the strong defense of this crypt spider still reduced a lot of damage to it. And at this moment, Sarah also came over. She waved the shadow blade in her hand and slashed it directly. -572, a terrifying damage number appeared. Hiss. The body of the crypt spider suddenly shrank, as if it had suffered a heavy blow. Although the crypt spider had amazing defense, Sarah's attack power was even stronger. 4 powerful summoned creatures began to besiege the crypt spider. Cao Xing ordered from behind, Andrew, your main goal is to withstand the damage of this spider. Assam, if Andrew's health drops below half, it's your turn. Sarah, Winter, attack with all your strength. Under Cao Xing's command, they attack the crypt spider in an orderly manner. -1124. -246, -172, -84, a lot of damage numbers floated up. Seeing that the battle gradually entered a rhythm, Cao Xing also breathed a sigh of relief. Then, he began to check the attributes of the spider monster. Crypt spider, level 20, race, insect, level, second order elite creature HP. 6614/10255, attack power. 513545, attributes, strength 312, agility 287, spirit 334, constitution 357, skills, powerful spider web, sprays out a powerful spider web, causing controlled effects on the enemy. If the enemy is not strong enough, it will be trapped permanently. Spawn, hatches a large number of small spiders on the spot. The number is between 20 and 50, causing interference effects on the enemy. Spider age, when the HP of the cave spider drops below 30%, it will hatch all the spider eggs in advance, and drive all the spiders to attack the enemy. Talent, neurotoxin, attaches one layer of level 2 neurotoxin effect when attacking. What a strong guy. Over 10,000 HP, plus attacks with its own toxins. What's even more terrifying is that it can hatch all spider eggs after the HP drops below 30%. At this moment, Cao Xing suddenly realized that the spider eggs around him were threats. So, Cao Xing ordered, Assam, take Frostwolf Winter away from the battlefield and clear the nearby demon spider eggs first. Andrew, Sarah, do your best to hold this crypt demon spider. Yes, Lord. Assam retracted his sword and rushed directly to a small demon spider egg nearby. Poof. -287. The small demon spider egg burst open, and a ball of green mucus gushed out from it, and there were 5 or 6 small spiders in it. As the system introduced, these small spiders were extremely fast, and crawled to Assam's feet in an instant. Assam kept slashing down with his sword. -246, -235, -244. He almost pierced these small demon spiders one by one with his sword. At the same time, Cao Xing continued to condense the power of frost, and threw ice balls one by one. Bang. -63. The body of a small spider suddenly exploded, and turned into a ball of green mucus. Successfully killed the LV3 little demon spider, and gained 30 experience points. Killing these little demon spiders also gives experience points. Cao Xing's eyes lit up immediately. Considering the number of demon spider eggs in this cave, this is also a considerable amount of experience points. Liu Muxue held a shield on the side, ready to fight. Her mission is to protect Cao Xing's safety. Puff puff puff. Assam blew up the demon spider eggs one by one in advance. Under the siege of 2 second level elite creatures, the health of the crypt demon spider began to pour out like water. Those demon spider eggs were also blown up one by Assam. Cao Xing followed behind, and kept finishing off the enemies, and his experience points began to rise rapidly. At the same time, as time passed, the survivors outside also began to sprint for the level rankings. A heated discussion broke out in the chat channel. Brothers, look at the rankings. Boss Fang Long has reached level 4 and has entered the top 3. Fuck, so fast. Should we say that he is worthy of being Fang Long of the 3 heroes? He is really amazing when he explodes. Indeed, Fang Long is still capable. The other survivors saw the discussion in the chat channel and clicked on the rankings to check. Level ranking of District 174. First place, Cao Xing, level 4, 52%. Second place, Zalbo, level 4, 25%. Third place, Fang Long, level 4, 17%. Fourth place. When the survivors saw this ranking, they frowned and said, it seems that Zalbo is catching up soon. It seems that Boss Cao Xing's first place is about to be lost. Yes, although I saw Boss Cao Xing's experience move today, it is still far behind Fang Long and Zalbo's speed. Hearing everyone's discussion about Fang Long, the survivors of the 3 Heroes Society said proudly in the chat channel, Cao Xing is just a lucky guy. What's the big deal? Let me tell you, we have several brothers who have united together. When we form a team, we can explore faster. And our boss Fang Long will soon surpass this Cao Xing. Wait 2 more days. Once the novice protection period is over, all those guys who offended our 3 Heroes Society will be liquidated. There were some supporters of Cao Xing in the chat channel. Now that they were threatened by the 3 Heroes Society, none of them dared to speak. At this time, a survivor named Fujia Feng said, the 3 Heroes Society is indeed powerful, but our Xiandao Society is not bad either. This time, our boss Zhaobo may not be the first, but the second place is stable. That's right, our Tiger Hall boss, Wu Xinghu, is also in the top 3. The survivors of the 3 Heroes Society also came out and said, it seems that the top 3 positions this time have been determined. Haha. Just when they had already booked the top 3 places in advance, someone suddenly said in the chat channel, look, Boss Cao Xing's experience bar is moving, and it's moving so fast. What? Everyone clicked on the leaderboard. First place, Cao Xing, level 4, 55%. It was just 52% just now, and it jumped to 55% in an instant. What's more terrifying is that his experience bar is still increasing. Level 4, 56% level 4, 58% level 4, 60% almost every few seconds. You can see his experience value jump. Oh my god. So fast. Seeing this scene, the survivors of the Three Heroes Association and the Heavenly Sword Association were filled with disbelief. At the same time, the battle in the cave was about to come to an end. The body of the crypt demon spider was covered with dense claw marks and deep knife marks that could be seen through the bones. Cao Xing noticed its health. 1203/10,255. The last 1000 or so health points. As Sarah slashed it with a knife. -638. The health of the crypt demon spider has dropped below 600. Seeing that Sarah was still trying to attack, Cao Xing quickly shouted, "Sarah, stop, let me do it." Sarah stopped there in a daze. The crypt demon spider thought it was going to die, but suddenly saw the two guys who were besieging it stop. It seemed to see a glimmer of hope again. The 8 legs of the crypt demon spider bent on the spot, and then suddenly bounced, as if ready to jump into the air. Sarah was about to attack, but when she thought of Cao Xing's order, she finally held back. At this moment, Cao Xing took out the Barrett without hesitation. When the crypt demon spider jumped into the air, he fired directly. Bang. -804. A big damage number floated up. Thanks to the book friend, my name is time and space for a monthly ticket, and 100 points of reward. Chapter 41. Kill the demonic spider. Big explosion. Bang. A gunshot rang out. A blood hole suddenly appeared on the body of the crypt spider. Plop. The crypt spider fell down, struggled on the spot for a while, and then fell down completely. The system prompt appeared. Successfully killed the crypt spider. A level 20 elite creature. Killed a monster above the level. Gained experience points 500 500%, and gained 2500 experience points. Combatants: Liu Muxue, Sarah Blade Dance, Andrew, Irina, Sam. Gained experience points 1250 points. Your level has been upgraded. Current level, level 5. This upgrade has gained strength +2, agility +1, spirit +3, constitution +2. A white light rose from Cao Xing and Liu Muxue at the same time. They upgraded at the same time. Cao Xing said excitedly, "Haha, I'm a human-headed dog." Then, the second system prompt appeared. Successfully killed the crypt spider, and obtained the trophy primary heart of power *1 right square bracket, obtained primary elemental crystal *12, obtained primary pet contract *1 right square bracket, obtained spider spirit, elite, *1 right square bracket, obtained chaos book medium *3 right square bracket, obtained spider staff, blue. A lot of rewards appeared. Oh my god, it's worthy of being a level 20 elite monster. The explosion rate is too high. Not only that, Sarah, Andrew and others, after seeing the end of the battle, all looked at Cao Xing with admiration. The crypt spider is a powerful creature, but they didn't suffer much damage. The lost blood volume has almost been replenished. Due to your proper command, you have demonstrated excellent combat capabilities. Sam's loyalty to you has been increased. Current loyalty 100. When loyalty reaches the maximum value, the follower will put your orders first, and will be willing to sacrifice his life to complete your orders. Andrew's loyalty to you has been increased. Current loyalty 80. Sarah Blade Dance's loyalty to you has been increased. Current loyalty 79. At the same time, the survivors who were watching the leaderboard suddenly saw that Cao Xing's experience value jumped from 65% at level 4 to 30% at level 5. At this moment, the entire chat channel of Zone 174 fell into a stagnation. Oh my god, what happened? Didn't they say that Fang Long and Zhao Bo were about to surpass Cao Xing? How come they were suddenly left so far behind? How terrifying. So much experience was gained all at once. Did boss Cao Xing kill some terrifying creature? At this moment, the survivors of the Three Heroes Association spoke up in the chat channel. Impossible. There must be something wrong with the ranking list. That's right. It takes at least several thousand experience points to upgrade from level 4 to level 5. How could he get so much experience at once? However, the other survivors couldn't stand it anymore. You guys from the Three Heroes Society, stop being so stubborn. You can even say that there is something wrong with the ranking list. That's right, the facts are all there, but you still refuse to admit it. Seeing more and more people supporting Cao Crossing, the speeches of those people from the Three Heroes Society were soon drowned out. In the Mole Man mine, Liu Muxue came over with a happy look on her face and whispered, "Xing, I've also upgraded. The system also prompts that I have entered the top 10 of the ranking list." Cao Crossing nodded and said, "Not bad. It seems that this time the ranking list is over. There is hope to bring you to the top 3. He rubbed Liu Muxue's hair. This intimate action made Liu Muxue a little shy. She hummed softly. Then, Cao Crossing began to check the rewards he had just received. Except for the primary heart of power and primary element crystal, all the others were new things. Cao Crossing began to check. Primary pet contract, green. This contract can be used on a wild creature to make it your exclusive pet with a success rate of 5%, 20%. Tip, you can try to tame it by force, which can greatly increase the success rate. Book of Chaos Medium, a rune with medium power, can be used on a follower to randomly increase its 4-dimensional attributes by 3 points. Demon Spider Essence, Elite, an essence with powerful soul power, can be used on a follower below the 2nd level to make it evolve into an elite creature with a high probability, with a success rate of 50%, 80%. When Cao Crossing saw this Demon Spider Essence, his eyes lit up. Oh my. This essence can actually make ordinary creatures evolve into elite creatures. Although there is a chance of failure, the probability of success is obviously higher. Cao Crossing glanced around and then stopped at Assam. Assam is now just a 2nd level ordinary creature. If he can be upgraded to the elite level, he can become even stronger. So, Cao Crossing called Assam and threw the Demon Spider Essence directly to him. "Assam, use it. It will make you stronger." Assam looked at the cluster of blue will-o'-the-wisp in his hand, and without any hesitation, he slapped it directly into his body. The next moment, Assam's whole body suddenly froze. He felt that a powerful force was constantly flowing in his body and began to transform his body. Then, everyone felt at the same time that an extremely powerful aura rose from Assam. The system prompt appeared. Your follower, Assam, using the Demon Spider Essence, successfully evolved into an elite creature. The potential has been improved. All attributes increased by 30%, and each upgrade will gain more attribute improvements. Additional activation skills. Frost Sword Key. Concentrate the power of frost and chop out a sword with a freezing effect. The maximum attack distance is 30 meters, causing 166% attack damage to all enemies along the way, and the cooling time is 60 seconds. Cao Crossing's eyes lit up instantly. A new skill, and a long-range skill. This wave of improvement is really fierce. Assam also sensed that, after using the will-o'-the-wisp, his strength became much stronger. He looked at Cao Crossing excitedly, knelt on one knee, and said respectfully, "Thank you for the power given by the Lord. Assam has no way to repay you." Cao Crossing nodded and said, "This is what you deserve. Knight Assam. From now on you will work with me to build a territory full of glory." Assam was moved to tears. He choked and said, "It is Assam's luck to meet a lord like you." Assam's loyalty has reached the maximum value, so there is no more system prompt. Cao Crossing nodded with satisfaction, and then checked Assam's attributes. Frost Wolf Knight, Assam, 2nd order elite creature, race, human, level 10 3635/10,000 health. 2660, attack power. 312327 armor. 2427, attributes, strength 148, agility 140, spirit 135, constitution 133, skills, riding mastery, frost wolf swordsmanship, frost sword key hunger. 80 loyalty. 100. As expected, all attributes have been greatly improved. Now he has 3 2nd order elite creatures under his command. Cao Crossing looked at the items in his backpack and took out another primary power crystal. This thing can be used by the Lord or summoned creatures. Cao Xing thought, this time, it should not be a problem for Muxue and I to get the top 10. So, this power crystal can be used first to improve the strength of the subordinates. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 42, Spider Staff, Opening the Silver Treasure Chest. Cao Xing glanced at the Frost Wolf Winter. It was also a level 10 creature, meeting the conditions for advancement. As long as it was upgraded to level 2, then all the creatures under his command, except Irina, would be level 2. So, he also handed the Heart of Power to Assam. Assam, go ahead and let your winter complete the advancement. A powerful knight needs a powerful mount to exert his combat power. Hearing this, Assam trembled and took the red crystal in Cao Xing's hand. He looked at Cao Xing gratefully and said no more. Instead, he turned and came directly to Frost Wolf Winter. Winter, accept the power bestowed by the Lord. Let us defend the Lord's honor to the death together. After saying this, he threw the power crystal directly over. Frost Wolf Winter seemed to know that this was something that could make it stronger. The moment Assam threw the crystal down, he opened his mouth wide and bit it directly. Snap! The sound of the crystal breaking rang out, and powerful power surged in its body. In an instant, the breath of winter was growing at a terrifying speed. Cao Xing saw that the already strong limbs of winter had grown 2 times bigger. Not only that, its size was still growing rapidly. From the original 3 meters long, it directly increased to nearly 4 meters. Roar! A terrifying roar echoed in the cave. This ferocious giant wolf, just standing there, gave people a strong sense of oppression. Cao Xing nodded again with satisfaction. Then, it was the last reward. Magic Spider Staff, blue. This thing was the first blue equipment that Cao Xing exploded. Cao Xing was very much looking forward to its attributes. Magic Spider Staff, blue, quality, excellent, attack power. 3137, attached special effect, spirit plus 10, attached special effect, primary magic power amplification. When launching a magic attack, there is a 40% chance to increase the magic damage of this attack by 10%. Attached special effect, drive magic spiders. Summon 5 level 10 first order magic spiders to help you fight. The magic spiders exist for 60 seconds and the special effect cooldown time is 300 seconds. After reading the equipment description, Cao Xing's eyes showed joy. Is this the blue equipment? So powerful. Not only does it increase 10 points of mental power, it also comes with a special effect of summoning magic spiders. He equipped it directly, and his mental power increased a lot. Cao Xing nodded with satisfaction. Then, he looked at Assam and others and ordered, search in the cave to see if you can find any treasures. Assam and others received the order and started to act. A few minutes later, Sarah made a discovery in a corner of the cave. There is a treasure chest here. Cao Xing was delighted when he heard it, and then he walked over. In the corner of the cave, in the area covered by spider webs, there was indeed a white treasure chest. Wow, another silver treasure chest. Cao Xing said happily. After cutting the spider web, the system prompt appeared. Found an unlocked silver treasure chest. Do you want to open it? Cao Xing directly clicked to open it. Ding. Successfully opened the silver treasure chest. Obtained a noble backpack, green, asterisk 1 right square bracket. Obtained a railroad production blueprint asterisk 1 right square bracket. Obtained a medium-sized shelter construction blueprint asterisk 1 right square bracket. Obtained large dry food asterisk 12. Obtained medical kit asterisk 3 right square bracket. Oh, a backpack is out, and there is also a railroad production blueprint. Cao Xing's eyes showed joy. That's great. This way, I can make more railroads and connect the mines near the territory. Cao Xing nodded with satisfaction and began to check the properties of the backpack and another shelter blueprint. Noble backpack, green, backpack capacity 40 slots, additional special effects, charm plus 4. Note, charm is an invisible attribute and will not be reflected on the panel. Medium-sized shelter construction blueprint. Surrounding area 40 square meters. Possible population 6 people. Additional effect. Provides life recovery effect for friendly units resting inside. Recovering 0.5 health points per second. Construction requirements. Stone asterisk 120. Wood asterisk 240. Iron asterisk 20. Primary element crystal asterisk 5. Right square bracket. Railway production blueprint. You can consume materials in the blacksmith shop to build a section of railroad track length 1 meter. Required. Iron asterisk 8, level 1 blacksmith shop. 1 backpack. 2 blueprints. Still very good. Cao Xing equipped the backpack with satisfaction. Then, he looked at the silver treasure chest on the ground. Do you want to decompose the open silver treasure chest asterisk 1 question mark. Yes. Decomposition successful. Get mithril asterisk 10. So far, Cao Xing has almost plundered all the things in this underground demon spider. At this time, Cao Xing looked up at the large cocoons, wrapped in spider webs. He suddenly thought, Muxue, do you think there are any treasures in these cocoons? Liu Muxue looked a little puzzled. Cao Xing thought for a moment and said directly, Assam, help me knock these cocoons down. Assam obeyed the order and slashed with a frost sword. Swish. A white cocoon fell down with a plop. Cao Xing came in front of the white cocoon, then looked at the druid beside him and said, Andrew, help me peel the cocoon open. Andrew looked a little hesitant. Lord, this is a blasphemy against the bodies of these dead. But if it is your order, Andrew is willing to execute it. It waved its claws and peeled the cocoon open with 2 swishes. Then, a pale human face appeared inside. It's actually a human. Seeing this scene, everyone was a little surprised. Cao Xing bent down and searched the body and found an emblem with flower petals and a long sword, as well as some coins. Obtained cartel family emblem asterisk 1 right square bracket. Obtained coins asterisk 72. Cao Xing checked the attributes of this emblem. Cartel family emblem, accessory, quality, ordinary, equipment effect, strength +1, agility +1. Cao Xing nodded. Although the added attributes are not much, because it is an accessory and does not occupy equipment slots, it is better than nothing. Then, Cao Xing knocked down the other cocoons. Inside, he found many corpses, both mole people and humans. Cao Xing found a total of 79 ingots, 452 coins, 6 primary element crystals and 11 clan emblems on these corpses. The benefits are still good. At this time, Cao Xing looked at the druid who had a guilty look on his face. Andrew, this is not a blasphemy to the dead, but to let them return to their roots. Only by rescuing them can the souls of the dead be liberated. Now, bury their bodies in the land you love most. Cao Xing's tone was very solemn, as if it was real. Hearing this, Andrew's originally frowned brows suddenly relaxed. He placed one hand on his chest and bowed respectfully, saying, so this is the intention of the Lord. Forgive Andrew for being ignorant and misunderstanding your meaning. The system prompt appeared. Your behavior has touched Andrew, and your loyalty has been improved. The current loyalty is 88. Cao Xing nodded and secretly rejoiced. These guys just like to hear these polite words. Then, they spent about 10 minutes to deal with these bodies. Seeing that there was no place to search in this cave, Cao Xing continued to order, return along the original route, and go to another passage. Follow your orders, Lord. The 4 powerful second-level creatures obeyed Cao Xing's instructions, and began to return along the original route. Dong dong dong. The advanced frost wolf's steps were heavy and powerful. Its heavy footsteps could be heard throughout the mine. Soon, they returned to the original fork in the road. This time, everyone was going to the left passage. The 4 recruited creatures walked in front again. Cao Xing and Liu Muxue followed behind, constantly collecting the rails and some scattered ores on the ground. Rail +1, rail +1, magic stone +3. Chapter 43 Magic Crystal and Drilling Robot. Railway +1, magic stone +3, magic crystal +1, system prompts kept appearing. Cao Xing and Liu Muxue were in the back, picking up these precious minerals with great pleasure. With a new backpack, Cao Xing no longer had to worry about the capacity of the backpack. He even picked up all the stones on the ground. Xing, here are some magic crystals that can be decomposed into 5 magic stones. Liu Muxue said happily, holding 2 crystals in her hand. Cao Xing's eyes lit up. Magic crystals. Good stuff. Muxue put them away. Yeah. Liu Muxue agreed with a chuckle. While moving forward, Cao Xing raised his staff to refresh the effects of ice armor and ice healing for them. After moving forward for almost 100 meters, they encountered another wave of mole miners. Chirp, chirp. There were about 15 of these mole miners, and they made threatening sounds. Among them, Cao Xing also saw several mole miners holding iron swords and spears. Moleman soldier LV 9 HP. 960 attack. 6771. Moleman spearman LV 10 HP. 1040 attack. 7679. Several of the molemen have improved their levels a lot and have learned some simple combat skills. This time, without Cao Xing's order, the 4 powerful recruited creatures have all rushed forward. Boom. Boom. Frostwolf Winter took the lead, running in the mine with its sturdy limbs, knocking molemen flying one by one. Then, it opened its mouth wide and bit down on a moleman. -273. Blood spurted out. Chiji. Chiji. The moleman screamed and began to struggle hard, but it was bitten off and died immediately. The attacks of other molemen, hitting the frost wolf, would immediately trigger a layer of scale armor and a layer of frost armor. -34, -27, -15. Several pitiful damage numbers floated up, and before they could launch another attack, several green numbers +22, +22 appeared above the frost wolf's head. In a few seconds, its health was restored to full. After Cao Xing's mental strength was improved, the recovery amount of ice healing was also greatly improved. This scene almost made these mole men despair. Then, Assam and Andrew also launched an attack. -437, -8, -312, -8, -784, -8. One by one, the damage numbers floated up. Assam and his strength were simply a dimensionality reduction attack for these mole miners. In addition, Sarah was wielding the shadow blade in the dark, cutting down the mole men along the way. They fell in groups. Cao Xing took Liu Muxue and easily picked up the spoils behind. Railway +1, dry food +7, viscous liquid +1. I have to say that this kind of battle is really comfortable. You don't need to do anything, just follow behind and pick up things. And you can also gain experience points. Your territory member Sarah Blade Dance kills Mole Man LV7 to gain experience points 70. You gain half of the experience points. 35. Your territory member tips for gaining experience points keep appearing. After a while, Cao Xing's experience bar reached 33% of level 5 and Liu Muxue's experience value has reached 34% of level 4. The two of them showed joy in their eyes. At this time, Liu Muxue's eyes showed a complicated look again. She knew how difficult it was for the survivors to fight now. If they encountered wild creatures, they would be in danger of death if they were not careful. The top 10 in the current rankings, even Fang Long, Zalbo and others, were facing the risk of death at any time during the battle. And Cao Xing and his current battle was really too comfortable. A few minutes later, the battle was over. Cao Xing picked up a lot of pickaxes from these mole men, as well as some iron ingots and viscous liquid. There were also 4 Book of Chaos Week. The harvest was not bad. Cao Xing said with satisfaction, "Keep going." Boom. Boom. Frostwolf Winter walked in the front with a breeze. They advanced for almost 500 meters, and Cao Xing picked up a lot of rails again. The mine in front of them became much more spacious. At this time, a monster nearly 2 meters tall, covered with iron sheets, and with a head like a big drill, blocked everyone's way. Seeing this figure, Cao Xing's eyes lit up instantly. Mechanical monster? The other party's attributes appeared in front of him. Mole Man technology, drilling robot, level 15, attack power. 2370-250 armor. 1151-24 durability. 2000, skills, drilling form, start the drill, Switch to the drilling form, increase the movement speed by 30%, and cause multiple cutting damage to enemies along the way. Drill ejection. Eject the drill out of the head, causing 5 stages of 80% attack to the enemy, with a maximum attack distance of 50 meters, and add 3 layers of level 1 bleeding effect, can only be used once. This drilling robot has no health points. As long as its durability is reset to 0, it is equivalent to losing its combat effectiveness. At this moment, the drilling robot also saw Cao Xing and the others, and it made intermittent mechanical synthesized sounds. There are enemies that need to be eliminated. Then, it lowered its body. From the original human form, it changed into a car form. Just like the Autobots transforming, the drill on the head started instantly, and it turned and hummed. If a drill like this hits you, you will be torn to pieces. At this moment, the drilling robot has already rushed towards everyone. Cao Xing gave the order, go ahead and kill it. The 4 recruited creatures received the order, and rushed forward at the same time. Roar. The advanced frost wolf took the lead. It slapped down with its claws. -31. A black damage number floated up. It looks like the damage is not high, but it is actually, because the armor value of this mechanical creature is very high. The drilling robot was attacked, and turned its head, and rushed towards the frost wolf winter. Buzz. Buzz. The drill bit rotated at high speed, and attacked the frost wolf, rolling up a large piece of hair and flesh. Ouch. The frost wolf cried out in pain. Damage numbers appeared on its head. -131, -15, -144, -15. Seeing this scene, Cao Xing was surprised and said, "Oh my god, this thing has such a high attack power." Even the frost wolf was almost blown away by it. And at this moment, a snow white figure suddenly jumped up, and then slapped the shell of the drill robot. Bang. -95. Andrew's attack was very impressive, directly causing the drill robot to lose nearly 1/20th of its durability. In addition, a bear claw symbol appeared on the head of the drill robot, and its defense dropped sharply. At this time, Sam and Sarah had also arrived. The 4 powerful creatures began to besiege the drill robot. Bang. Crack. Sam's long sword, Andrew's claws, and Sarah's shadow blade continued to chop at the drill robot. -102, -8, -156, -8, -454, -8. Sarah's attack was as sharp as ever. With 1 slash, after triggering Gift of Liberation, it could directly take away nearly a quarter of the robot's durability. Chapter 44. Repair successful. Territory population 1. With everyone's concentrated fire, the burrowing robot lost 1/3 of its durability. At the same time, the attacked frost wolf winter also had a green recovery number of +22 on its head. Its health was recovering rapidly. The next battle was no longer suspenseful. 10 seconds later, as a burst of black smoke rose from the burrowing robot, it returned from its burrowing form to its human form, and said in a frustrated voice, "The robot lost. Your territory member, Sarah Blade Dance, killed the burrowing robot LV-15 and gained 150 experience points. All combatants gained 75 experience points. This combatant included not only everyone on the field, but also Irina, who was in the territory." Cao Xing laughed again. "I feel like Irina should have reached level 6 now, right?" Liu Muxue, who was standing aside, saw Sarah's graceful attack movements and powerful attack power, and couldn't help but praise her. "Sarah, so amazing." Sarah heard Liu Muxue's praise and nodded slightly, saying, "I'm honored to receive your appreciation, beautiful lord." Cao Xing rolled his eyes. This woman, she didn't react at all when he praised her. She was so happy when Liu Muxue praised her. Shaking his head, Cao Xing came to the scrapped drilling robot. Mole Man technology, drilling robot, damaged, can be decomposed into primary energy core *1, iron *120, copper *41, mithril *27, magic stone *6, right square bracket, or use iron *100, mithril *10, magic stone *5 to repair it. The repaired drilling robot will become a friendly unit, and you can give it simple commands. Seeing the second effect, Cao Xing's eyes lit up. "Huh. it can become a friendly unit. Cao Crossing has seen the powerful attack power of the drilling robot. In a one-on-one state, the Frost Wolf is no match for it. Moreover, this thing can also be used to mine, which can be called a multifunctional robot. Cao Crossing glanced at the materials in his backpack. Iron asterisk 1723, mithril asterisk 133, magic stone asterisk 164. Fortunately, I picked up a lot of these materials along the way, which are more than enough to repair the drilling robot. So Cao Crossing directly clicked on the repair. Repairing. Crack. Crack. The sound of the machine turning appeared. At the same time, the scrapped robot seemed to be moving again. The iron shell of the parts that were attacked was cut off, revealing the electrical components inside. With the input of various materials, it began to repair quickly, and it was restored to its original state in a short while. The system prompt appeared. Repair successful. You lost iron asterisk 100, mithril asterisk 10, magic stone asterisk 5, you gained drilling robot asterisk 1, territory population plus 1. Cao Crossing was stunned. This thing is also counted as a population unit. After thinking about it, he didn't care. Anyway, he still has a lot of population limit now. At this moment, the drilling robot stood up again. I'm a robot. Master, please give me your orders. Seeing this scene, Sarah, Andrew and others all cast their curious eyes over. It seemed strange that the guy they had just knocked down stood up again. Cao Crossing took a look at the status of the drilling robot. Mole Man technology, drilling robot, level 15, attack power 2370-250 armor, 1151-24 durability, 100 over 2000, maximum movement speed, 30 km/h, energy consumption, 1 magic stone / 30 days, low energy standby state, 1 magic stone / 1 day, high energy combat state, skills, drilling form, drill head ejection. Other attributes are the same as seen before. After becoming a friendly unit, Cao Crossing can already see its energy consumption and movement values. In low energy state, it only consumes 1 magic stone per month, which is still very low energy consumption. Moreover, the durability of the drill robot that had just been repaired was in a very low state. Just when Cao Crossing was trying to restore its durability, Cao Crossing suddenly felt a dangerous breath approaching quickly. Sam was extremely sensitive, and he instantly drew his sword and warned, "Lord, be careful." At the same time, many pairs of red eyes suddenly appeared in the darkness. Trample. Trample. Buzz. Buzz. Dozens or hundreds of footsteps rushed towards Cao Crossing, and others at the same time, accompanied by the sound of machines turning. Andrew and Sarah's faces condensed, and they all entered the state. When Cao Crossing looked over, a large group of mole people holding swords, spears, swords, and halberds appeared. There were many of them. Among them, there were several robots with a height of 2 to 3 meters. Cao Crossing looked over and saw the attributes of these monsters. Mole Man Archer LV 11 HP. 1760 attack. 1331-35. Mole Man Soldier LV 7 HP. 640 attack. 5459. Mole Man Technology, Forklift Robot, level 15 attack. 3773-94 armor. 1341-39 durability. 2500, skill, forklift form, start the bucket, enter the excavator form, and increase the movement speed by 20%. Skill, rampage, move forward at full power, flatten all enemies in front of you, cause 130% heavy damage to enemies along the way, and have a 50% chance of knocking enemies away. In addition to this forklift robot, Cao Crossing also saw a tracked robot with tank tracks and another drilling robot. Oh my god, did I stir up a hornet's nest? Cao Crossing couldn't help but exclaimed in surprise. Hundreds of molements surrounded them, plus 3 powerful robots. Even Cao Crossing felt a sense of pressure. However, when he thought of the strength of Sarah and others, Cao Crossing felt relieved. The recruited creatures under his command were not vegetarians. After multiple buffs, their survivability and endurance were qualitatively improved. They were completely enough to deal with the situation in front of them. So Cao Xing directly ordered, Assam, come and protect us. Andrew, Sarah, Winter, you go. At this moment, the three powerful second level creatures accepted the order and rushed over without hesitation. Facing the battle in front of her, Sarah was not only not afraid, but also seemed very excited. She licked her rosy lips and murmured, my prey is nearby, now, let the hunt begin. The next moment, she escaped directly into the darkness. And Andrew also entered the giant bear form, without hesitation. Roar. A frost wolf, a white bear, and a group of black shadows quickly rushed to the army to attack. The two sides engaged in direct combat. Boom. Boom. Andrew and Frost Wolf, two huge monsters, jumped directly into the group of mole men, waving their claws. -372, -8, -234, -8, 257, -8. A long string of damage numbers floated up. The mole men were swept away in large numbers. Chiji. Chiji. They were hit against the wall of the mine and screamed. At this moment, several second level mole archers in the distance launched an attack at the same time. Swish. Swish. The sound of breaking through the air continued to come, hitting Andrew and Frost Wolf, triggering 2 layers of armor. -54, -93. The damage was not high. The other mole men could only deal more than 10 or 20 damage. Seeing this scene, Cao Xing felt relieved. Because with their recovery ability, they could survive under such a siege. Roar. Andrew was completely in a state of rage at this moment. He waved his millstone-sized bear paw, smashing the heads of the low-level mole men one by one. Puff puff puff. Although the frost wolf next to him was not so terrifying, 2 or 3 claws could also kill a mole man. In addition, Sarah in the shadows kept waving the shadow blade. One mole man after another was killed. Tips for experience acquisition kept appearing. At the same time, Assam's loyal guards were by Cao Xing's side, protecting him and Liu Muxue's safety. Cao Xing breathed a sigh of relief. Fortunately, Andrew and the others are strong enough. So many mole men appeared at once, which really scared me a little. Cao Xing saw the drill robot that had just been repaired next to him, but because it only had 100 durability points left, he didn't let it participate in the battle. He tried to cast an ice healing spell over it. The system prompt appeared. Successfully cast. Ice healing spell. The talent, Eternal Power, took effect, and the skill has become permanent. Thanks to the book friends, 2 monthly tickets, and 100 coins reward for meeting difficulties. Thank you all the book friends for your recommendation votes. Thank you for your support. Chapter 45 both entered the ranking. +22, +22. The recovery numbers floated up one by one, and the durability of the drilling robot was recovering rapidly. Cao Xing's eyes lit up. Oh my god, it really works. Then, he cast an ice armor spell on the robot, and Liu Muxue also cast an aurora blessing on it. After a while, the drilling robot announced that it was fully revived. At this moment, it made a mechanical voice. I feel in good condition. Cao Xing nodded and said, okay. Since you have recovered, then go and join the battle. Got it, Master. Under Cao Xing's command, the robot took steel steps and joined the battle. But the machine drill began to rotate, and the drilling robot rushed into the mole people, directly creating one mole man after another. -254, -233, -213, -247. The damage numbers floated up one by one, causing a large number of mole people to scream. Shishi. Shishi. Cao Xing's eyes were once again focused on the battlefield. The 3 robots had the highest attack power on the field. The robots' strong defense and attack power were as difficult to deal with as elite monsters of the same level. If they fought alone, Andrew and Frost Wolf might not be afraid of them. But now, there were so many molemen besieging them. So, they fought while shifting their positions to avoid them. Chiji. Chiji. The nearby moleman warriors kept using their weapons to hack at Andrew and Frost Wolf. -37, -63, -54. After being weakened by the scale armor and frost armor, as well as their own defense, the damage caused by these molemen was negligible. And soon, a +22, plus 22 healing number would appear above the heads of Frostwolf, Winter and Andrew. Nearly 3 minutes had passed, and their health had not dropped by more than 30%. At the same time, Sarah kept appearing in the shadows and attacking the 3 robots. She knew that, as long as these robots were dealt with first, the remaining molemen would not be a threat. Crack. The shadow blade swung. Minus 674. An exaggerated damage number floated up. This attack actually triggered the double critical strike effect of Gift of Liberation. The last tracked robot was also killed by Sarah on the spot. Seeing this scene, Cao Xing felt relieved. Haha. Let me show you what a phantom assassin with infinite blood recovery is. Sarah, chop them down. At the same time, several mole men also noticed Cao Xing behind them, as if they knew that he was the mastermind behind the scenes. One of the mole men captains wearing a hat pointed at Cao Xing. Kill him. After hearing this, the other mole men cast their eyes. Chirp. Chirp. They rushed towards Cao Xing with spears and iron swords in their hands. Assam, who was acting as a guard on the side, moved instantly. A group of shady guys, do not offend the Lord. A cold light flashed, and the Frostwolf sword technique was whirring as he danced. Shua shua shua. Minus 322. Minus 335. Minus 493. One by one, the molemen died tragically under Assam's sword. After advancing to an elite creature, Assam is truly invincible. Your territory member, Assam killed a moleman soldier LV11 and gained 110 experience points. You gained experience points. 55. Your territory member, Sarah Blade Dance killed a moleman soldier LV13 and gained 130 experience points. You gained experience points. 65. Tips for gaining experience kept coming. There are hundreds of molemen here. Cao Xing almost watched his experience bar soaring rapidly, seeing that it has reached 86% of level 5. At this moment, Liu Muxue on the side was still in a state of nervous tension. After the battle began, she looked around vigilantly and guarded around Cao Xing. Cao Xing patted Liu Muxue's shoulder and said, "Okay, you can relax a little." Liu Muxue's shoulders trembled. Then she turned her head and breathed a sigh of relief. At this time, a white light suddenly rose from Liu Muxue's body. Her beautiful eyes flickered, and she said excitedly, Xing, I've reached level 5. Cao Xing smiled and said, not bad. It seems that this time there is hope that you can enter the top 3. Cao Xing checked the level rankings. Level rankings of District 174. First place, Cao Xing, level 5, 86%. Second place, Liu Muxue, level 5, 2%. Third place, Zalbo, level 4, 43%. Fourth place, Fang Long, level 4, 21%. Liu Muxue jumped to the second place. At this moment, the chat channel of District 174 was completely blown up. Lujing, fuck. Boss Cao Xing is so scary. He's leveling up, like he's on hormones. Chen Yu, yeah, that's outrageous. It's only been a short time, and he's almost leveled up to level 6. Qe, who is this Liu Muxue? She can actually surpass Zhaobo and Fang Long and directly rush to second place. Huangshan, our District 174 is really full of hidden talents. A hidden boss has suddenly appeared, and the name seems to be a girl. The survivors were all full of emotion. At this time, a survivor named Chen Yi said, wait a minute, do you think the name Liu Muxue is a little familiar? Hearing him mention it, the other survivors were thoughtful. It's indeed a little familiar. I remember that one of the top 10 goddesses listed in our Zhangjiang fashion magazine is called Liu Muxue. Damn. It can't really be Goddess Muxue, right? Zuo Baosheng, I think it's very likely. Apart from Goddess Liu Muxue, there shouldn't be anyone else who has this strength, right? Oh my. It turned out to be Goddess Liu Muxue, that's not surprising. At the same time, other survivors also saw the changes in the rankings. Fang Long had just killed a snow wolf in a snowy field. After receiving the news from his subordinates, his face changed. This kid is almost up to level 6. And Liu Muxue has also reached level 5. Fang Long's face turned pale. He originally wanted to catch up with Cao Xing today, but now it seems that the gap seems to be getting bigger and bigger. This made him feel a sense of pressure. If this goes on, this kid will really take first place. When he uses the first place reward to summon a leader level creature, he will be even less of a match for him. We have to think of a way. Fang Long opened his friend list, found a survivor named Ji Jun, and sent a message. I asked you to check the coordinates of that kid's camp. How is it going? The other party quickly replied, boss, now no one can go too far from the camp, and no one has found the boy's traces. It's not easy to check. Waste. Fang Long cursed, and hung up the communication directly. But he also knew that at the current stage, it was very difficult to find the coordinates of a person's camp without the other party actively exposing himself. Fang Long fell into thought. After a moment, he suddenly thought of something. I remember that Muzu seemed to be with that guy. And Liu Muxue's family contacted me yesterday. I wonder if we can start from her family and find the coordinates of their camp? Fang Long's eyes suddenly lit up. It seems possible. It is said that Liu Muxue has been controlled by her family since she was a child. All her whereabouts need to be reported, and she also listens to her parents. And Liu Zhenji is a profit-seeking guy. Just give him a few more pieces of food and he can be bribed. Thinking of this, Fang Long suddenly showed an interested smile at the corner of his mouth. So, he opened the friend list. Then, he called Liu Zhenji. Chapter 46 Inquiring about the campsite coordinates. At this moment, the battle in the Mole Man mine has come to an end. Cao Xing and Liu Muxue were standing behind a SAM, easily launching attacks one after another. 340cm long ice cones condensed and shot out. Puff puff puff. -84, -87, -85. One of the level 10 mole men was concentrated by Cao Xing and died on the spot. Successfully killed the mole man LV10 and gained 100 experience points. Cao Xing nodded with satisfaction. Not bad. After changing to the magic spider cane, his attack power has also been significantly improved. Compared with Cao Xing, Sarah's side is even more terrifying. After realizing that the attacks of these mole men could not cause effective damage to her, Sarah directly gave up hiding and began to slaughter head on. The shadow blade kept swinging like a death god harvesting lives on the battlefield. -792, -847, -1657. One by one, exaggerated damage floated up. These mole men fell down one by one like cutting melons and vegetables. Cao Xing and Liu Muxue watched Sarah's performance almost the whole time. At this time, a video call request suddenly rang from Liu Muxue's side. At a glance, it was her father calling. Liu Muxue looked at Cao Xing and asked softly, Xing, my father called again and left a message saying that there was an emergency. Should I answer it? Now, her trust in Cao Xing is completely greater than that in her family. Cao Xing thought for a moment, wondering why Liu Muxue's father called at this time. Could it be that he saw Liu Muxue on the list and wanted some benefits? Cao Xing thought about it and then said, answer it and see what he wants to do. But just pretend that I'm not around and talk to him. Liu Muxue nodded. Then she answered the phone. At this moment, Liu Zhenji looked at the video screen and said excitedly, Xiaoxu, you finally answered the phone. You kid, we sent you so many messages and you didn't reply. What do you want to do? Liu Muxue's face suddenly turned cold when she heard the latter sentence. What do you want to talk to me about? The experience of the past 2 days has gradually made her stronger. She is no longer the Liu Muxue who was controlled by her family before. Hearing Liu Muxue's tone, Liu Zhenji seemed to realize that something was wrong. The anger that just appeared on his face quickly restrained, and he put on a smile and said, oh, it's nothing. I just want to ask, how are you doing over there? I see you are on the list. So amazing. Your mother and your brother are proud of you. After hearing this, Liu Muxue felt a little cold in her heart. She knew the hypocrisy of Liu Zhenji's words. What he said was proud of herself, but during the time when she became popular, she never felt that her family was proud of her. She just used herself as a tool to make money. She said coldly, if you have anything to say, just tell me. I don't have any food here. When Liu Zenji heard this, his smile froze, and he seemed surprised by her tough attitude. But he still said with a smile, Xiaoxu, Dad doesn't want food. I just want to ask where your camp is. These 2 days, your mother and I have reflected for a long time, and we know that we were too mean to you in the past, and we feel very guilty. I want to bring your 2 brothers to see you after the novice protection period is lifted. Liu Zenji said it with deep emotion and seemed to really feel regretful. However, Liu Muxue is a smart woman. Hearing this, she was not only not happy about her family's confession, but she keenly noticed that something was wrong. She turned off the video screen and sound, turned her head and asked, Crossing, my dad suddenly asked me for the coordinates, and I felt that something was wrong with him. With their temper, it is impossible for them to suddenly feel guilty towards me. After hearing this, Cao Xing was stunned for a moment and asked in confusion, he wants our coordinates? Liu Muxue nodded. Cao Xing fell into thought, and he also felt that something was wrong. After all, at the current stage, the survivors could not even walk out of the 10-kilometer range of the camp, and would not even think about looking for other survivors' bases. Moreover, with the life-saving character of Liu Muxue's father and her mother, they would not take this risk. There is a problem. Then, it was others who asked Liu Zenji to come and ask. Interesting, they actually thought of using Muxue's family to get the coordinates of my camp. These guys have some ideas. As for who instructed it, Cao Xing knew it in his heart. It was nothing more than those people who wanted to compete with him for the first place on the list. Obviously, Fang Long was the most suspicious. After all, he had offended him. Cao Xing showed an interested smile and said, Muxue, tell him a coordinate location. 71,231, 5213, 23,719. Liu Muxue was a little confused, because this coordinate was not the location of their camp at all. It was hundreds of kilometers away. What she didn't know was that the location of this coordinate was a large gathering place for hunters. There was a group of crazy hunters there, and they were planning a horrific massacre. If they didn't go, it would be fine. If they went, these guys would suffer. I'm afraid that they would be sacrificed like Tong Chachu's father. Cao Xing added, by the way, remind your father that at this stage, he has no way to cross hundreds of kilometers of snow, so he'd better not come to us. This was also Cao Xing's last reminder to him. Liu Muxue nodded lightly. I know, Crossing. Liu Muxue opened the video screen. Then she told Liu Zenji the coordinate location. After Liu Zenji saw the coordinate information, he didn't doubt it and was very happy. He said excitedly, okay, Xiaoxu, you are really our good daughter. We will bring people to find you in a while. After saying that, he hung up the phone directly. Liu Muxue glanced at Cao Xing. Cao Xing nodded. After this episode, the previous battle was over. Cao Xing looked at his experience value. Level 5, 90% almost able to upgrade to level 6. On the field, piles of mole man corpses fell to the ground. Only 4 powerful second level creatures and a drill robot were left standing. Cao Xing said, start cleaning the battlefield. Liu Muxue also laughed and followed Cao Xing to collect spoils. Get dry food asterisk 7 right square bracket. Get viscous liquid asterisk 1 right square bracket. Get iron ingot asterisk 1 right square bracket. Get mole man standard short sword white asterisk 1 right square bracket. Get mole man standard spear white asterisk 1 right square bracket. System prompts kept appearing. It took about 10 minutes. They cleared the battlefield. Cumulative gains. Dry food asterisk 372, viscous liquid asterisk 79, Book of Chaos weak asterisk 5 right square bracket, iron ingot asterisk 43, then there were more than 40 blank weapons. In addition, Cao Xing also saw 3 robots standing quietly next to him, emitting black smoke. Mole man technology, bucket robot, destroyed. Mole man technology, tracked robot, destroyed. Mole man technology, drilling robot, destroyed. Chapter 47, The Lone Mammoth. There are 3 robots in total, all of which can be repaired. Cao Crossing directly spent a lot of materials and clicked on repair. The system prompt appeared. Repairing. Hunk. Hunk. The damaged parts of the 3 scarred robots were recovering rapidly, including the electronic components inside. Repaired successfully. You have obtained Bucket Robot LV-15 *1, Crawler Robot LV-15 *1, Drilling Robot LV-15 *1, Territory Population +3. The 3 robots made a mechanical synthetics sound and looked at Cao Crossing and said, "Master, please give orders." Cao Crossing nodded with satisfaction. These robots have the strength comparable to elite monsters of the same level. With Cao Crossing's talent, it is equivalent to a qualitative change. It can also increase a lot of combat power for himself. Then, he ordered, "Keep moving forward." 4 robots, plus 4 second level creatures, walked forward in a mighty manner. Cao Crossing and Liu Muxue continued to follow behind. Because the mole people in this mine had been killed by Cao Crossing, he had almost no scruples. Whatever he saw on the road, he took it all away. Obtained a minecart *1, obtained iron ore *67, cursed metal *12, mithril ore *5, magic stone *23, stone *112. Obtained rails *42, obtained magic crystal *1, obtained. He picked up all the materials along the way, which can be said to be a great harvest. Cao Crossing looked at the materials in his backpack with excitement in his eyes. Minecart *27, railways *1334, iron ore *1023, cursed metal *357, mithril ore *135, magic stone *274. These are the harvests from this trip into the mine, which can be called a great harvest. Cao Crossing said happily. More than 1,000 meters of rails. This is enough to lay in the mine near the camp. However, Cao Crossing felt a little strange. Since this is a mine, those mole people have obviously worked here for a while. So, where did these mole people mined before go? So, Cao Crossing said to Andrew and others in front of him, "Pay attention to see if there are any forks in this mine, and look for the ore warehouse of the mole people." Hearing this, Sam, Andrew and others began to look around. However, everyone continued to move forward along the depths of the mine while groping. Not long after, a ray of light appeared in front of them. Through the light, they found that this was also the entrance to a mine. This situation showed that they had walked through the steep mine. Sam, who was walking in the front, said, "Lord, I found a lot of traces of wheel tracks at the entrance of the mine. The mole people may have transported the mine or through this passage." Cao Crossing was stunned for a moment, looking at the wheel tracks extending deep into the snow. It was obvious that the mole people's convoy had left for a while, and they were a step late. Cao Crossing shook his head. "Forget it, let's go back first." This time, their harvest was already great enough. Not only did they obtain a large amount of ore and a lot of experience, 4 powerful robots were also added to the team. And the key is that these 4 robots are very maneuverable in the snow, especially the huge tracked robot. With a height of 3 meters and 2 huge tracks, it can adapt to many terrains. Cao Crossing thought it shouldn't be a problem for a robot like this to carry 2 people walking in the snow. Thinking of this, Cao Crossing first climbed onto the back of the tracked robot and found a flat place to sit. Then he patted its shoulder and said, "Go ahead." The tracked robot received the order and the 2 tracks began to rotate rapidly. Crunch. Crunch. 2 tracks nearly 50 centimeters wide were left on the snow in front. The tracked robot moved forward at a high speed. Cao Crossing felt the whistling wind in his ears and was surprised. So fast. The maneuverability of this tracked robot is beyond my imagination. So Cao Crossing continued, "Tracked robot, go full speed." The tracked robot responded with a mechanical sound. Received. "Master." Buzz. Its energy core began to rotate rapidly and switched to a high energy state. At this moment, the crawler robot's moving speed increased a lot, reaching 30 kilometers per hour. You know, this is on the snow. 30 kilometers per hour is already quite amazing. Woohoo. So fast. Cao Xing looked at the scene around him that was rapidly retreating with excitement. Andrew and others who were at the entrance of the mine looked at Cao Xing riding the crawler robot in the snow in front of them and looked at each other. After turning a few circles, Cao Xing controlled the crawler robot and walked back again. Then, he looked at Liu Muxue who was standing aside and said, "Muxue, get on." Cao Xing controlled the crawler robot to extend his arm and made an invitation. Liu Muxue stepped on the mechanical palm with a curious look in her eyes and then was lifted up steadily and her eyes began to rise. After a while, she sat next to Cao Xing. Cao Xing asked, "Are you sitting firmly?" Liu Muxue nodded gently, "Yeah." Cao Xing said, "Okay, then let's go and return." Andrew, Sam and others received the order and began to move towards the vast snow. 4 robots followed closely behind. Boom. Boom. The 8 figures moved forward very fast. With the robots, their mobility has been greatly improved. This place is 7 kilometers away from the camp, and it took more than an hour to get there before. However, now, at this speed, it only takes more than 10 minutes to return to the camp. It can be said to be a huge improvement. Whoosh whoosh, the cold wind blew past my ears. The tracked robot moves very fast and very steadily. But under the ice and snow, there may be some obstacles such as gravel or branches. Although they will be run over by the tracks, they also cause some bumps. Liu Muxue was a little nervous and couldn't help but grab Cao Xing's wrist. Then, she seemed to have found the backbone and felt relieved all of a sudden. In front, Andrew rode the Frost Wolf, Sam was on all fours, and there were 4 robots. The group walked in this vast snow. As for Sarah, she was sent by Cao Xing to explore the surrounding environment. A few minutes later, they advanced about 3 kilometers. At this moment, Sarah appeared in front of Cao Xing. "Stop." Cao Xing quickly stopped the team and asked, "Sarah, what happened?" Sarah replied calmly, "There was a battle ahead." "Fight?" Cao Xing asked in confusion. "Who?" Sarah replied, "A group of hunters. They are besieging an ice mammoth." Hunters and mammoths? At this time, the druid on the side also said in confusion, "Ice mammoths are the migration of the snowfield and are a kind of social creature. With the strength of the hunters, they can't deal with such a powerful creature." As if knowing Andrew's doubts, Sarah shook her head. It was a lone young mammoth, but it fell into the hunter's trap. Chapter 48 Leader Level Creatures. Sarah shook her head and said, "It was a lone young mammoth, but it fell into the trap of the hunters." Hearing this, the druid's eyes showed anger. These damn hunters, it's not enough to destroy those city-states, they also extended their claws to the sacred mammoths. These destroyers of nature must be punished. He looked at Cao Xing and saluted respectfully, "Lord, please help the poor mammoth." Cao Xing thought for a moment, then said, "Let's go and take a look first." He didn't say that he must take action, but he wanted to see the strength of the hunters first. Sarah nodded, then turned around and led the way. Everyone changed direction and went forward. A minute or two later, they came to the place where Sarah found the battle. This is a canyon with a crack nearly 100 meters wide in front. On the crack, there are several 100-meter long giant tree trunks that serve as bridges. And one of the giant tree bridges seems to have broken, and something fell down. However, this canyon is not deep, only a few dozen meters high. They heard shouts from the bottom of the canyon. "Cast the net. Cast the net quickly. Pull in the chain, and restrict its movements. Don't let this mammoth run away." Looking in the direction of the voice, below the canyon, there was a group of masked humans holding swords and spears in their hands, besieging a grey-white huge creature. The body was nearly 5 meters tall, covered with grey-white hair, and the curved fangs were 2 meters long. Cao Xing's heart moved. This is the extinct creature on the blue planet, the mammoth. At this moment, many spears were pierced into the body of this ice-filled mammoth, and blood was oozing out of the blood holes. Thorn nets covered its body, and the spikes pierced into its flesh. In addition, its limbs were wrapped with an iron chain, and more than a dozen hunters grabbed the iron chain and restricted its movements. The mammoth kept making angry calls. Moo, moo. Cao Xing took a look at the attributes of the mammoth. Icefield mammoth, level 20, race, beast, level, second order boss level creature HP. 3823/15023. Attack power 974 1056. Attributes: Strength 414, Agility 358, Spirit 361, Constitution 495. Skills: Icefield Roar, emits a deafening roar, stunning surrounding enemies, reducing defense by 100, and the effect lasts for 3 seconds. Fang Strike, fly the enemy away, causing 180% of the attack damage, with 2 layers of level 5 bleeding effect. Mammoth Trampling, the mammoth raises its forelimbs and stomps down heavily, causing 300% damage to the enemy under its feet, and 80% concussion damage to enemies within a 100-meter area, causing them to be stunned for 13 seconds. Furious Charge, the ice mammoth falls into a frenzy, running at top speed, increasing its movement speed by 200%, causing targets with less strength than itself to be 100% knocked away. Talent: Giant Beast Physique, additional 30% increase in HP. Talent: Cold Resistance. Status: Bleeding, Poisoned, Seriously Injured, Fractured. Cao Crossing's eyes move slightly. Good fellow, a level 20 boss monster. This attribute is really strong. But it is obvious that the mammoth is in a very bad state now. It fell into the trap carefully prepared by this group of hunters. And the key is that it is still besieged by at least 20 or 30 hunters. Spears pierced its skin, causing bursts of blood. Its blood volume is constantly decreasing. The snow-covered ground has been dyed red by the blood of the mammoth. Moo. The mammoth raised its head and roared angrily, as if trying to break free from the control of the hunters. However, its hind legs were severely fractured, and it was difficult to even stand. The hunters nearby were still struggling to hold the chain, not giving it any chance to escape. One of the elite hunters laughed loudly. "Hold on, brothers. This mammoth is dying. We haven't had meat in our camp for a long time. After killing this mammoth, we will have enough food for at least half a month. The leader will definitely reward us." After hearing this, the other hunters were full of fighting spirit. At this moment, one of the skinny hunters rushed up quickly with a spear in his hand to show his bravery. Then, while the ice mammoth didn't notice, he jumped high, held the spear in his hand, and stabbed it hard at the mammoth's neck. Puff! Half of the spear went in. Moo! The mammoth raised its head and screamed. But the hunter said excitedly, "I did it. I did it. I hit the mammoth's vital point. I'm the bravest warrior of our Church of Light. The leader will definitely appreciate me." At this moment, the mammoth swung its trunk and lashed out. Bang! The hunter was instantly blown away. Minus 1074. A large damage number floated up. The hunter flew dozens of meters away and hit a rock hard and died immediately. The hunters were terrified and said angrily, "Damn it. Little Jack is dead. Attack with all your strength. We can't let Little Jack's death be in vain." A lot of long-range attacks hit the head of the Icefield mammoth. Minus 24, minus 37, minus 56, minus 32, minus 147. A long string of damage numbers floated up. There was a lot of bleeding damage. The mammoth's health value poured down like water and soon dropped below 2000. The mammoth seemed to have used up its last bit of strength. With a whimper, it fell down like a hill. Boom. The sound of the mammoth falling to the ground was very shocking. The hunter said excitedly, "The mammoth has fallen. Kill it quickly." The hunters rushed up like a group of hungry wolves. This mammoth is still in its infancy and is not as strong as those adult mammoths. You know, any adult mammoth is more than 10 meters tall and has a strength of at least 30 or 40 levels. The mammoth lying on the ground seemed to know that its death was approaching, and tears were still flashing in its eyes. Seeing this scene, Andrew's eyes showed reluctance. He knelt on his knees and came to Cao Xing and begged, "Lord, please help and save this poor child." Cao Xing nodded and said, "Get up, Andrew. These believers of the evil god, everyone can kill them. I will go to save this mammoth." Just now, Cao Xing was just observing the strength of the group of hunters below. But now, he has come to a conclusion. Below, there was one elite hunter of level 15, 5 second level hunters above level 10, and the rest were ordinary hunters below level 10. With this strength, the recruited creatures under his command could easily deal with them. Hearing this, Andrew's eyes were filled with tears, and he said with emotion, "Nature will thank you, kind Lord. Your behavior has touched Andrew, and his loyalty has been improved. The current loyalty is 93. Cao Xing nodded secretly. Andrew's loyalty has also been raised. Soon he will be the second place, a member of the territory with a loyalty of 100. Cao Xing stood up from the back of the crawler robot and ordered, "Then now, everyone go out and kill all the hunters below." Sam was the first to draw his long sword, swear to defend the honor of the Lord to the death. Frost Wolf Knight, go out. He rode the Frost Wolf and took the lead in making a leap of faith. However, at such a high place, even the Frost Wolf would be seriously injured if it jumped down. So Sam was not so stupid. He took advantage of the large rocks on the edge of the canyon and made a few flexible leaps to land safely underground. At the same time, the remaining 3 robots and Sarah all started to act. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 49 Pet Contract, Save the Mammoth. Andrew transformed into a giant bear and roared. Roar. The terrifying sound echoed in the canyon. The group of hunters stopped attacking and looked up in confusion. What is that? It seems to be a white bear, and there are other humans? At the same time, Sam, riding a frost wolf, had already rushed in front of the group of hunters. There is an enemy. Stop him. The elite hunter shouted. The other hunters entered the battle state one after another, and 5 or 6 hunters rushed up in an instant to besiege Sam. Sam took the lead, facing the enemy that was several times his number. He had no fear and drew his sword. Swish, swish. -372, -243, -354, -271. He used the Frost Wolf swordsmanship with great vigor, and the Frost Wolf under his feet also kept waving its claws to hit the hunters. Bang, bang, bang. The elite hunter saw his companion being knocked away and knew that this guy was a tough guy. He ordered, "Let's go together, catch this guy and hand him over to the leader." At this moment, on the other side of the canyon, 3 robots had slid down a steep slope. Rumble. The roar of the machine came. Huh. There are helpers? The elite hunter was shocked. At this moment, he suddenly felt a chill on the back of his neck. A sense of death enveloped him. Sarah had touched the back of the elite hunter without knowing when. The shadow blade was handed out silently. Puff. -1764. A terrifying injury appeared. The elite hunter felt a terrible wound on his back. Hiss. What kind of attack is this? The elite hunter took a breath of cold air and was about to run away. But the shadow behind him, like a maggot attached to his bones, entangled again. The enemy targeted by Sarah would definitely not have a chance to escape. Andrew, who was standing next to him, turned into a violent giant bear, slapping all the hunters next to the mammoth and tearing them apart. Your territory member, Andrew, killed the hunter level 8 and gained 80 experience points. Combatant gained 40 experience points. Your territory member, Sam, killed the hunter level 7 and gained 70 experience points. Combatant gained 35 experience points. Tips for gaining experience points kept coming. Cao Xing stood above the canyon, quietly watching the battle below. In this kind of scene, he didn't need to take action. 2 minutes later, the battle was coming to an end. Only the last few hunters were still struggling to hold on the battlefield below. "Let's go, Muxue, let's go down too." After saying that, Cao Xing and Liu Muxue jumped off the back of the crawler robot. After leaving the crawler robot above the canyon, he slowly slid down with Liu Muxue. When he came down, the battle was over. Sarah killed the level 15 elite hunter with 1 knife. The system prompt appeared. Territory member, Sarah Blade Dance, killed elite hunter LV15 and gained 450 experience points. You gained 225 experience points. At the same time, a white light rose from Cao Xing's body. Your level has been upgraded. Current level, level 6. This upgrade has gained strength +1, agility +2, spirit +4, Constitution +2. Cao Xing felt that there was another magical power in his body. Cao Xing nodded with satisfaction, and then directly ordered, Assam, Sarab, clean up the battlefield. Andrew, come with me. The blood in Andrew's eyes gradually faded. The killing just now turned him into a complete beast. After a moment, a pious look reappeared in his eyes. At this moment, Andrew followed Cao Xing respectfully, and then came to the front of the ice mammoth together. Cao Xing glanced at the current state of the mammoth. Iceland mammoth HP 1104/15023. Status: bleeding, fracture, poisoning, dying, with a lot of negative status. The situation of this Iceland mammoth is not optimistic, and it has fallen into a dying state. Moreover, due to bleeding and poisoning, its health points are still decreasing. Purple numbers, -5, and -6, kept popping up above its head. Cao Xing frowned. This mammoth is too seriously injured. It's a bit troublesome. Liu Muxue clenched her fists involuntarily, and a distressed look appeared on her face. Woo! The mammoth fell to the ground, and a faint cry came out of its mouth. It seemed to know that its time was up. Andrew walked forward with a compassionate look and gently stroked the mammoth's head. Poor child. Andrew turned around and looked at Cao Xing with a pleading look. Lord, do you have any way to save this mammoth? Cao Xing did not answer, but tried to cast an ice healing on the mammoth. The system prompt appeared. Cannot use healing skills on non-friendly units. Cao Xing frowned slightly, then shook his head. Andrew, my power can only be used on my own people, not on mammoths. Hearing this, Andrew's eyes suddenly flashed with despair. How could this happen? The damage numbers on the mammoth on the ground continued to appear, and it was seen that it had dropped below 1000. Andrew sighed. He knew that he could not do anything else, and could only accompany the mammoth to spend the last journey of its life. Woo. Woo. The mammoth's breath became weaker and weaker. Cao Xing seemed to remember something at this time. When he killed the big spider before, the system gave him a pet contract. I just don't know if it can be used on a powerful creature like a mammoth. If possible, if the mammoth becomes a friendly creature, I should be able to treat it, right? Thinking of this, Cao Xing decided to give it a try. Andrew, can you talk to it? Andrew raised his head and replied, Lord, I can do some simple communication. Cao Xing nodded. Okay, you communicate with it, and ask it if it is willing to be my pet and sign a pet contract with me. Only if it becomes my pet can I help it. Andrew was stunned, and then as if he saw some hope, he said excitedly, I will try my best to persuade this child. The mammoth family is powerful and arrogant. In Andrew's memory, there are not many warriors who can tame this creature. The mammoth would rather die than succumb to other creatures. But now in order to keep it alive, Andrew can only try his best to persuade it. Andrew put his bare paw on the mammoth's body and uttered some strange syllables. The mammoth turned its pupils with difficulty, looked at Cao Xing, and then looked at Andrew. It seemed to be making some difficult decisions. After a moment, it uttered a low whimper. Woo. The next moment, Andrew's eyes suddenly showed joy. Thanks to the book friends, King for 2 monthly tickets, Chyan Xian Shishikian for 1 monthly ticket, King Xian Mengai for 1 monthly ticket, Fin Fiedamang for 1 monthly ticket, Huayang's OC Seed Player for 1 monthly ticket, and 54 Shafa Chaoshan for 100 points. Thanks to all the book friends for their recommendation tickets. The author would like to express his gratitude. Chapter 50. Conquer the mammoth and name it successfully. Andrew turned around and said happily, Lord, this mammoth has agreed. It is willing to be your pet. Please take it under your command now and treat it. Andrew seemed very anxious, because the mammoth's health was only about 500 HP left as time went by. Its breath was getting weaker and weaker. Cao Xing was also a little surprised to hear the mammoth agree, and then he was surprised. After all, this mammoth is a leader level creature, and it is still in its infancy. It can be said that it has great potential. If it can become your pet, combined with its talent, it will definitely grow to a powerful height in the future. But now, let's sign a contract with it first. Cao Xing took out the pet contract scroll from his backpack. Primary pet contract, green. You can use this contract on a wild creature. to make it your exclusive pet, with a success rate of 5%, 20%. The success rate of this contract scroll is very low. But now, because the mammoth has agreed, and will not resist, therefore, the success rate of this contract scroll has reached 100%. Do you want to use the pet contract scroll to sign a contract with the mammoth level 20? Yes. The scroll in Cao Xing's hand disappeared and turned into a ball of white light that hit the mammoth. At the same time, the mammoth seemed to be sensed by something. Its body moved. After a moment, Cao Xing also had a strange feeling in his heart. In the dark, he felt that he seemed to have established some kind of connection with the mammoth. The system prompt appeared. Contract successful. The ice mammoth has become your pet, and the territory population +5. Cao Xing was stunned. It actually took up 5 of my people. However, considering the strength of this mammoth, it was not so surprising. In front of Cao Xing, an attribute panel appeared. Ice mammoth, unnamed, race, beast, detailed attributes, same as above. Satiation, 75 loyalty, 80 status, near death. You can also name it. Cao Xing thought for a moment, and then said, from now on, you will be called Dabe. Mammoth. Dabe was named successfully. Woo. Dabe responded in a low voice on the ground. Cao Xing looked at its health value, that was still constantly draining away, and then looked at Liu Muxue next to him and said, Muxue, cast a few purification spells on Dabe first. Your current purification spell level is not high, you may need to cast a few more, to remove all its negative states. Liu Muxue nodded. Okay, axing. Then, she raised the knight's long sword, and raised it above her head. The colorful aurora gathered from the tip of her sword, and then fell directly into the body of the mammoth. May the holy aurora bless you. In an instant, the poisoning state on the mammoth was cleared by one layer. At the same time, Cao Xing also raised his staff and cast an ice healing spell. The system prompt for the activation of the talent appeared. And above Dabe's head green +25, +25 recovery numbers appeared one by one. Dabe's health value was slowly recovering. But because of the serious injury, the recovery effect was not obvious. Similarly, damage numbers continued to appear on its head. -14, -7, -8. The HP restored per second could barely offset the HP lost by Dabe. If Cao Xing did not have the talent of eternal power, if another frost mage came, even if he accepted the mammoth as a pet, he would have watched it die because of insufficient healing. The problem now was to stop the mammoth's injuries first. Cao Xing said, Andrew, clean up the spears and chains on Dabe. We must stop the bleeding from its wounds first. Andrew's loyalty was almost as high as Sam's. He obeyed Cao Xing's orders almost without hesitation. He said respectfully, yes, my merciful lord. Then, he stretched out his bare claws and pulled out the spears and arrows from the mammoth one by one. Puff, puff, -74, -56. Every time he pulled out the arrows, the mammoth would make a painful whine, and a damage number would appear above its head. Fortunately, with Liu Muxue continuously releasing the purification book and the continuous treatment of ice healing, the wounds quickly stopped bleeding. At the same time, the damage number on the mammoth's head was also gradually decreasing. Cao Xing breathed a sigh of relief. Next, all he had to do was wait for Dabe's health to recover slowly. However, with its full 15,000 health points, it would take a long time to recover. Everyone waited silently. At the same time, Assam and Sarah had also cleaned up the battlefield. Assam came to Cao Xing and handed over a few cloth bags. Lord, these are the things we found from those hunters. Cao Xing nodded and took them. Get coins *642. Cao Xing smiled with 642 yuan in his account today. At the same time, Sarah also handed Cao Xing something. It was a pair of grey pants, and I don't know what material they were made of, covered with layers of scales. After Cao Xing took it, the system prompt appeared. Obtained scale armor bottoms, green, *1 right square bracketed was another green outfit. Cao Xing looked at Sarah in surprise. This is. Sarah said calmly, this was taken from the captain of the rangers. I think this is the only thing on him that is worth money. Cao Xing laughed and praised, Sarah, you did a good job. Sarah pursed her lips and turned her head away, seemingly unimpressed by Cao Xing's praise. Cao Xing didn't care and checked the properties of this equipment. Scale armor bottoms, green, quality, excellent armor. 57 attached special effect, agility +3, attached special effect, fish scale armor. When attacked by physical attacks, it offsets 5 points of damage caused by strength. Cao Xing nodded with satisfaction. Not bad. This pair of pants can give me a lot of armor. He put it on directly, and his survivability was improved again. After a few minutes of waiting, the health of the ice mammoth has also recovered to more than 10,000. However, when its health returned to 12,000, it stopped rising. Because it entered a serious, broken state, its upper limit of health was reduced by 20%. Moo. Moo. Dabe stood up with all his strength, as if trying to stand up again. However, because of the broken bones in its right leg, it tried several times before it could barely stand still. Moreover, in this state, even if it stood up, Dabe could no longer move. Cao Xing said, "Andrew, help Dabe recover." Andrew nodded. He understood what Cao Xing meant. He came behind Dabe, lifted its thick elephant leg, and comforted it. "Child, bear with it for a while." As soon as he finished speaking, it suddenly broke it. Crack. A crisp sound of bone dislocation appeared. -27-24. Moo Dabe screamed in pain, and its huge body trembled continuously. Andrew gently stroked it, as if to comfort it. Dabe also stood obediently in place, trembling all over and persisting. After a while, as the ice healing continued to recover, Dabe's health rose again. And when it gradually recovered, Dabe also returned to its prime. Compared to the mammoth lying on the ground dying a few minutes ago, it is now like a new life. The mammoth raised its trunk and roared. Moo. This roar was full of energy and had strong penetrating power. The snow on both sides of the canyon was shaken down. Everyone couldn't help but cover their ears. This roar made their blood surge. The level 20 boss creature is really very powerful. Cao Xing covered his ears and shouted, "Dabe, don't shout too loudly." Hearing Cao Xing's voice, the mammoth stopped roaring and lowered its head. The big eyes stared at the man in front of him. It knew that it was this human who saved it. Dabe walked to Cao Xing and gently rubbed his body with his nose. Woo. Woo. It seemed very intimate with Cao Xing. Cao Xing also happily touched its trunk. A system prompt appeared. "Because you saved the pet, Dabe, the loyalty has been increased. The current loyalty is 90. When the loyalty reaches 100, you will completely gain the trust of the pet and can unlock the mount function." End of this chapter. Thank you very much for reaching the end. Don't forget to like. Looking for more exclusive content and immediate access? Subscribe to our Patreon. Remember, every like, subscription, or donation encourages us to continue. Thanks to everyone. See you in the next video.